Black technology, building a lightsaber starting from a graduation project. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction, so don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 301 Scientific Research Genius. Rubbing his face, Teng Xianbang let his mood recover from the shock. Pen Fund Library. Professor Xu, you are so soon. What he originally wanted to say was that the drawings were revised so quickly, but on second thought, Professor Xu's projects have never been accessible to ordinary scientific research scholars. It didn't feel strange anymore. After pondering for a while, Teng Xianbang asked, Professor Xu, I have another question. Why is the time so rushed this time, to complete the project within a week? Turning around, Xu Teng looked at him and replied seriously, because the battle ahead is tight, we don't have that much time. And, after a while of silence, he continued, the moment the project is completed, it may be the time to use space-based weapons directly. Teng Xianbang, just like the assistant said, everything was ready that night. The incoming materials, the entry of the expert team, and even the semi-finished space-based weapons were shipped over. It was also at this moment that everyone at the space base was sighing. It turned out that when the whole country opened the green channel to it, the speed can be so fast. When those experts got together and heard that the project needed to be completed in a week, they were all stunned. Isn't this a joke? It took us 3 years to make the progress of the project reach 90%, and the final progress of nearly 10% can't be developed no matter what, and now you want it to be completed in a week. It's just unreasonable. Why Alan Tam would approve such a project? Those present were all senior scientific research seniors of the older generation, those who were prudent, solid, and did not dare to be false even in front of everyone at the base. They still speak their minds. The only difference is, why the scientific researchers in this base seem to be full of confidence. No, they have never built space-based weapons at this time. Teng Xianbang stepped forward when someone was about to come forward and have a theory with him. The former took out the complete design drawings and handed them over. Look at this first cut. Isn't this the original design drawing? Even with my eyes closed, I can tell what is written on it. Before he finished speaking, the expression on his face was from disapproval to solemnity to shock. At this moment, as the researcher of the project, he naturally knows where the difficulties of space-based weapons are, and in this project drawing not only all the difficulties are marked, but also how to overcome these difficulties are listed in detail. The hardness of the tungsten rod, the power engine. Looking at each plan, he was surprised. The solution is simply perfect, especially the last few sentences. Because of the projection angle, it will inevitably cause corresponding friction. Space-based weapons need to be projected from space, which is too complicated to solve. Just delete the original plan and arrange it in the anti-gravity engine on the platform. I go. At that time, the old researchers in the team exclaimed, after so many years of scientific research, I have never seen such a hardcore solution. Anti-gravity engine. He had thought about the project but didn't have the courage to do it because the knowledge involved is too hardcore. Self-confessed level is limited, cannot do this project. So, in the base, is even the anti-gravity engine ready? Before coming, they were informed that the space-based weapons project was restarted. Led by a new generation of scientific researcher Xu Teng. Nothing else is known. I don't know either. Former colleagues on the same team answered seriously. At this moment, Teng Xianbang sorted out his clothes, smoothed out the wrinkles, and said proudly, the base has not made any research results for major projects. It just completed the anti-gravity engine a few days ago. That's it. I can't, unless you show me. That's right, I'm lying to the old man here. And the anti-gravity engine? Teng Xianbang beckoned, and the assistant understood and pulled the curtain behind him. At this time, they realized that the curtain was blocking a big thing. It's the anti-gravity engine. They can't believe. Through the transparent glass wall, an engine can be seen starting, and a small aircraft is arranged to take off. There are no supporting equipment around. Fuck, even if they are literate readers at this moment, I can't stand it anymore. This Nima, is it really researched? Isn't it just an ordinary space base? Then are the space-based weapon bases far worse? But there are things of this weight level. This is, who made it? He was so excited that he started to stutter when he spoke. Teng Xianbang, who was standing beside him, had a satisfied expression on his face, and said proudly, that was naturally developed by our Professor Xu. Professor Xu. Is that Xu Teng? They suddenly thought of the names on the design drawings. Hurry up, let's meet him. It's been a long time since my peers have seen such an academically powerful person. Yes, he must have been preparing for this project for decades. In a way, anti-gravity engines are more difficult than space-based weapons because, if the latter is successfully developed, it is equivalent to getting through the foundation of entering the interstellar era, and the latter is more like mastering high-end weapon technology. Therefore, it is not too much to develop it for decades. The atmosphere became quiet. The two turned their heads, saw the embarrassed expression on Tang Xianbang's face, and asked suspiciously, "What's wrong? Did we say it wrong? Isn't it developed for decades, peer?" Decades? You underestimate Professor Xu too much. At this moment, a sound suddenly sounded. Boom. Everyone in the hall turned their heads, and a burly, young and handsome figure walked in. Everyone, get ready. Starting tonight, we will keep catching up with the progress of the experiment. We must complete the space-based weapon within a week. The battle on the front lines is already tight, and our fighters need space-based weapons to back them up. As soon as they finished speaking, the following scientific research staff responded with sonorous force. Understood, Professor Xu. Rest assured, we promise to complete the task. Professor Xu. The senior scientific researchers who had just spoken to Tang Xianbang were stunned. Then he turned his head and asked in an uncertain tone, "He is what you call Xu Teng?" "Yeah." Tang Xianbang nodded. "You are making fun of me." Someone almost interrupted Tang Xianbang's words, but at a glance, there are energetic researchers around. They feel that this is the truth. Then, decades. What do you think? The anti-gravity engine project was completed in less than 2 months. This is a scientific genius. Chapter 302 Unimaginable Situation. In the inherent cognition of several people, it is impossible for such scientific research genius to exist, but such a serious matter Tang Xianbang naturally wouldn't joke. Moreover, all the people were called by Tan Yonglin himself prove that he knows these things too. "Why don't you try?" someone asked in an uncertain tone. "Then give it a try. It's just a week of high intensity. It's not like I haven't done this kind of scientific research before." Well, let's see what the new generation of scientific research geniuses look like. People started to go to their jobs when Xu Teng saw the experts enter the field and found his place. Take a deep breath. Ding. The host's request was detected. Whether to open the badge, integration, turn on, enter the badge to start the countdown. Whether to open the badge, magical change master, turn on, enter the badge to start the countdown. As Xu Teng determines the options, the time for the system badge to be turned on enters a countdown. Several scientific research seniors have been arranged in the space-based weapons project. Their rich scientific research experience can make us take less detours. Of course, the most important part is that they are experienced in scientific research and can trigger unexpected effects. At the same time, they can also give me feedback. Not only does the badge become an active skill in the range, when the effect is triggered, it can also feedback its effect to Xu Teng. The more experienced the researcher, the better the feedback. That's why he could say he could finish the space-based weapon within a week. Emblem, fusion, the effect has been activated. Emblem, the magician, the effect has been activated. As Xu Teng walked around, the inspirational explosion that the researchers in the base were craving came again. The newly added scientific research seniors did not react at first. What's wrong? They felt something different emerging within them, like inspiration. Next second, the rush of inspiration drowned all the scientific research seniors. If an anti-gravity platform is built, the shape can be roughly designed to look like this. By the way, with this power source, can we still design a power source at the bottom of it? When positioning and aiming, remove the satellite's positioning. There is another way. Just when everyone was feeling the explosion of inspiration, all the feedback effects came to Xu Teng. When designing, using another method, it turned out to be able to speed up the production rate. All are very motivated, inspired by the group effect of badges. Those newly joined senior scientific researchers suddenly realized something. It seems that doing scientific research is not so difficult. Why do you think this way? That's because by 6 in the morning, they found that the remainder of the space-based weapons project had advanced considerably. The project of space-based weapons is probably only the last 6%. Damn, the experiment can be completed so quickly in one night. In the more than 10 hours since he came to the base, the senior scientific researcher, known for his seriousness, has broken the record for the most frequent swear words in his life. At first, I thought it was a dream to complete space-based weapons in a week. But now, he paused for a moment, and the person behind him took the words, "It doesn't even take a week." Yup, Several people murmured, the era of science and technology. It should be turned to the next era. As the problems were solved one by one, all the researchers noticed this way. It doesn't even take a week to complete 4 days later. 4% of the project remains 3 days later. 3% of the project remains 2 days later. Only the last percent of the project was left on that day. All the participating researchers worked hard. It's all that comes to mind. It's definitely possible. Come on, there's only one last bit left on the last day. The project was completely completed at that moment. Everyone was cheering. Haha, we're done. Space-based weapons are really sent to the sky, finally. We have lived up to the country's trust in us, especially the scientific research seniors who joined later, hugged each other and cried with joy. They can't believe that the major problems that they have been unable to overcome can be overcome by themselves in the twilight of their lives at this time. Look at the screen in the hall in space. On an anti-gravity platform, a tall device is resting quietly on it. That's the space-based weapon they developed. Projection equipment, tungsten rod. I have to say that after removing the original plan, it is really easy and convenient to build it on the anti-gravity platform and launch it. No need to worry at all. Professor Xu, what's on your mind? Several scientific research seniors stepped forward and asked as the project leader Xu Teng. The expression on his face at this time is not excited. On the contrary, it was very calm. From time to time, he turned his head to look at the satellite phone in front of him. I'm waiting for a call. Telephone. Well, the call of the frontline soldiers. The space-based weapons may be used soon. So fast. The original 1-week time limit is because of this. East Afghanistan, Bam City, on North Street. At this time, the lightsaber team was stunned. Maliki's power casts out in their hearts the majesty that God had created in them. But at this moment, that feeling resurfaced. When I looked up, I found it the sky had been dyed blood red, and the black mist that filled the air gradually turned into bright light. The figure of God has been solidified. Looking up, the sky is full of brilliance. It shows the majesty of God. Fuck. This is riding a horse. Why did he come out? Liu Boran shouted loudly in the headset. I don't know. What should I do? Maliki asked in mind link. No, I don't know. Wang Doi murmured. Under normal circumstances, it is Wang Doi who makes up his mind, but in the face of this shocking emergency, he had no choice at all. Lightsaber, blaster gun, ion energy shield, all of which are useless. Captain, did Professor Xu say anything when we came out? Wang Doi asked. Yuan Farron was stunned for a moment, then continued, really? Really? What did Professor Xu say? Liu Boran asked. He said to contact him when the situation exceeds expectations. Everyone was stunned. I'll go? Professor Xu is simply too reliable. It all counts. In front of him, the gods have descended. It is the unimaginable situation that Professor Xu said. Yuan Farron took out the satellite positioning phone on his waist. PS. In the rush of the plot, the next one is that the Dragon Kingdom will enter the interstellar era. The civilization will invade in an all-round way, and there will be various weapons against it. Chapter 303. Hit me hard. Satellite positioning phone, when you need to talk, not only cannot be disturbed, but also can be located instantly. Beep. Dragon Country, an aerospace base. Several senior scientific researchers, although they believed Professor Xu's words, also found it strange. Whispered to each other, will someone call at this time? There should be. It's not that space-based weapons are meant to deal with that. I'm riding a horse. This is a space-based weapon. It's not that I don't believe it, I just want to see for myself. What exactly needs a space-based weapon to deal with? Although the remaining few people did not speak, but the same is true of the expression on his face. The old man has lived for so many years. It's not that I don't believe you, Professor Xu. It's that I've never seen an enemy that needs to be dealt with space-based weapons. I want to open my eyes. Just when everyone was waiting to turn around and go to the celebration banquet, the satellite phone Xu Teng put on the console suddenly rang. For real, the senior scientific researcher was stunned. On the other hand, Xu Teng, who was standing beside him, responded very quickly. Connect instantly. I'm Xu Teng. Yuan Farron breathed a sigh of relief when he heard the familiar tone. Then he said in an urgent tone, Professor Xu, there is an emergency in East Afghanistan. Did God come? Huh? Xu Teng's quick reply made him not know what to do. Could it be that this is also in Professor Xu's plan? So, you are strategizing and winning thousands of miles away? Yes, it is. I see. Yuan Farron. No, so calm. That's the god of East Afghanistan, where the technology of the pentagram is everywhere. Healing array, gathering bullets, black mist. Professor Xu, you may have never been here before. You don't know how tense and hot the atmosphere is. Originally, the sky above us was still thundering, and a tall phantom came down, and even created coercion. Well now, the gods of other people's families are about to descend completely. The coercion can even keep our heads up. Just when Yuan Theron was going to make a long story short and let Professor Xu understand their disparate situation, Xu Teng's next words directly shattered his three views. I have prepared weapon, the god-killing version. You will retreat immediately. The satellite positioning phone has transmitted your coordinates, and the satellites above are accurate to the latitude and longitude. Everything will be fine. It was numb. Yuan Theron was completely numb. It turns out that the lightsabers, blasters, and ion energy shields in our hands are nothing. Even Su Zhao, who was sent over, this kind of genetic biological warrior, neither is Professor Su's last trump card. Space-based weapons, yes, moreover, it is still the god-killing version. Why does Professor Xu always say such cruel words in such a calm tone? What about God? What about the pentagram? Another world civilization invaded the Blue Star civilization. Do you really think it was going so well? There is a trick called strategic weapon strike from the sky. You may have heard of it. Okay, Professor Xu. We retire immediately. It's just that Su Zhao hasn't contacted us for a while. It's okay, I can contact it. You should leave now. Okay. When the phone hung up, Xu Teng walked to the top. At this time, everyone who was still celebrating each other looked back at Xu Teng. There is some doubt in the look. Did it come so soon? When the space-based weapons program was implemented, all the participants at the base knew something. After all, Su Zhao, who came out of the laboratory at the beginning but in the base, he showed his might. Although just a few hours of high-end courses, however, the tactical cooperation between the creatures directly defeated the instructors who taught the special forces. There is also a famous saying, instructor, stop it, it's all my people outside, so much so that the instructor was laughed at for a long time. Just such a genetic creature warrior, who took advantage of the darkness of the night to leave in a helicopter. Everyone will think the battle ahead is very tight. Then there is the project of space-based weapons now, isn't it? In the expectant eyes of everyone, Xu Teng said slowly, Dragon Kingdom will never take the initiative to invade other countries. We cherish the sovereignty of every independent country. However, we never let others threaten our country. A few months ago, Blue Star had the largest meteor shower ever recorded in the meteorite. We found the Milovsky particle, which led to the anti-gravity engine technology. And East Afghanistan also landed a meteorite, and they got the technology of a pentagram. This technology, based on the pentagram, develops technology based on theology. Originally, we were not prepared to meddle in our own business, but after they obtained the technology, they kidnapped the citizens of our multinational enterprise for the first time and attempted to kill them. Then it was discovered after the investigation by the team we sent out that their technological development was mainly based on sacrifice. That's right, it is to sacrifice life to sublimate oneself. We are adjacent to them. Before God came, they dared to kidnap and kill our citizens. Now, their God has come. Can we just sit back and watch? Following that, Xu Teng explained the matter roughly and completely. Everyone understands that the situation has become complicated. No wonder, in the middle of the night several times, the big boss of Alan Tam would come to the aerospace base to discuss things with Professor Xu. No wonder, Professor Xu will carry out the project of genetic biological warrior, and let Su Zhao go to the front line overnight. No wonder, the space-based weapons program was given a death order. It must be completed within a week. It turns out that all the goals are for that so-called God pentagram technology based on theology. It doesn't belong to Blue Star. It came from another planet. At this moment, the researchers in the space-based thought a lot. They are all old, and they have come from the most difficult time in the early days of the founding of the People's Republic of China, being despised and being tested by various great powers. The state of the dragon is now the short-lived peace in the past few decades, all because they frantically resisted the enemy in the early days of the founding of the country. Not convinced? Deny. Okay, then call me. So, at this moment something in the DNA moved, attempting to kill the citizens of the Dragon Kingdom, descending on a cult-type god. How can we make you wish willing to leave home, away from family? Staying in the base for years and years is for peace now. All the researchers in the scientific research base shouted loudly. No, it is good. Xu Teng turned around. The white coat on his body fluttered, and said loudly, Sky-based weapons, hit me hard. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 304, Brothers, Run. As Xu Teng's instructions began to be issued, the surrounding researchers began to act one by one, immediately went to the workplace and began to debug the equipment. Anti-gravity engine, start the self-test program. The self-test is complete, the data is correct, and it is starting. The satellite positioning phone positioning data has been received, and the satellite is being mobilized for precise positioning, latitude and longitude, verifying. The space-based weapon is undergoing a self-test. The self-test is completed, and the level is starting. The projection program has been set. The latitude and longitude coordinates are being transmitted. The bottom engine is activating. Activation complete. When all the levels had been self-examined, the staff turned to look at Xu Teng. Professor Xu, space-based weapons are ready. It is good. Looking at the continuously beating data in the center of the screen, Xu Teng tapped the button on the operating platform directly. Call me. Boom rumble. The angle is adjusted, and the black tungsten rod begins to rotate in the lens. It stopped immediately, and shot directly at a certain place. At this moment, a countdown begins to appear on the screen. Estimated strike time. 5 minutes. 5 minutes, should be enough. Turning around, Xu Teng started to contact Su Zhao and the ring he gave to Su Zhao. There were other things besides the necessary weapons, for example, the positioning function, and the function of recording video. Moreover, the set program is that Su Zhao's side is the slave machine, and his is the main machine. The advantage is that when Su Zhao wants to contact Xu Teng, he needs to get Xu Teng's consent, but when he contacted Su Zhao, he was able to make a violent connection directly. When the space barrier was directly killed by Su Zhao with a blaster gun, the emotions on the opposite side would be frightened because the magic dog found the blaster gun is powerful enough to send them to the west. But at a critical moment, their boss, the devil wolf, appeared. The situation on the scene reversed, and Rever said, "Hey, the boss is here. We don't have to be afraid anymore." After all, as their boss, the devil wolf does have a face, red eyes, double heads. There are strong lines on the body, which can draw out flames and breathe breath. How to see, how to have force. Who hurt my subordinates? The magic wolf slowed down. Speak slowly. Yo, you are here. It's your father here. Su Zhao didn't have the slightest fear growing under the light of the red star. Do not believe in ghosts and gods. Obviously we are all the same creature. What are you pretending to be, a big-tailed wolf? So, the wolf was angry. The god of heaven is coming, as his faithful fighter. How can he be challenged with a majesty like this? In particular, the black mist is getting stronger and stronger. It means that everything is getting better and better. Pentagram will eventually be the most powerful technology on Blue Star. We are arrogant. Treason and death penalty. Originally, the red-eyed demon wolf's eyes turned even redder at this time. Yo, little bastard, come and kill me right now. I'm here, come and beat me. Su Zhao didn't appreciate it at all. On the contrary, he tried his best to provoke it. If it weren't for the blaster gun being scaled down, the energy would also be smaller. If you can't play it now, I have to give you a beam of blue light to let you know what real technological crushing is. Such a pity. Only the ionic energy shield works. However, this is a good thing because Xu Teng once told it as long as the energy does not exceed the upper limit of the shield, it is absolutely safe. At the same time, the damage it takes will be transformed into energy in its own form. As for why he came to provoke the demon wolf, that was because the atmosphere at the scene began to change a little. The morale of the other party began to rise, and it seemed that their boss had a very important place in their hearts. This is not a good situation. It is necessary to find a way to strike well. And the way to strike is to let the demon wolf defeat it under his own hands. Court death. The wolf was angry. This is the first time it has been so humiliated and provoked after following the god of the Musi civilization. Just pissed me off, boss. Kill it. Yes, it hit us. Woo woo woo. And scare us, boss. You must decide for us. It also said that it wants to eat your wolf meat, saying that wolf meat is the best. The younger brothers around him kept fanning the flames, wishing he could immediately smash Su Zhao to piece. And Su Zhao, who was standing on the other side, was stunned. Good guy, in order to provoke the anger of your boss, you don't want your face, right? I never said I wanted to eat you, boss. Wolf meat, little brother. Did you speak your heart out at once? At this time, the flame pattern on the demon wolf brightened again, and the breath it exhaled began to be sucked in by it like a bottomless pit. The body began to frantically absorb the surrounding gas. Before long, the temperature in the sewers began to soar. Even the old facilities around can be seen starting to catch fire. What is this? Wait, it can't be. That 3 flavors are really hot. Su Zhao, who had watched Journey to the West, began to think about the situation in front of him. At the same time, he said loudly, "You all stand back, I will carry it, you come." Court death. The devil wolf hummed inwardly after accumulating energy. He aimed at Su Zhao and spit it out. Boom. At this time, there was a slight cracking sound in the air. A golden thing popped out instantly, lying between the devil wolf and Su Zhao. Next second, boom, the violent flames immediately hit the golden shield. Burn it, burn it. The expected scene did not appear to be specific. The raging flames did not advance in the slightest. Demon wolf, little brother, what's going on? Is it because our boss is a little weak? Is it not good enough? There are younger brothers who are secretly guessing and dare not speak on the other side. Although the magic wolf is puzzled, but he has been working hard to activate the flame, and the flame pattern on his body has become extraordinarily dazzling. Just when everyone was wondering, Su Zhao's voice suddenly came out. Huh? Professor Su, how can you call in directly? What? You said it's only 5 minutes. It's only 4 minutes and 56 seconds now. You said video. I took all of them. You also informed the lightsaber team. Okay, I understand. I'm slipping away now. Well, I'll pay attention. Demon wolf, what are you doing? The two of us are fighting. Can you respect me? So many younger brothers are around just when it was thinking about whether to activate the last part of its power. A dazzling golden light suddenly flashed over it as the damaged reflection of the ionic energy shield. Immediately afterwards, Su Zhao was heard shouting loudly, "Brothers, run away." Chapter 305 Death. As far as execution is concerned, Su Zhao's subordinates are absolutely qualified, although the younger brothers do not know why is it that the two are tied. But Su Zhao suddenly greets everyone to go, but one thing is said, the boss is right. Then the quickest response is the orange cat immediately ran in front of Su Zhao. The latter jumped up instantly and jumped on his head. Quick, quick, where did we come from? Where are we going? Immediately, and leave Bam City quickly. Meow. Looking at the enemy retreating like a tide, the demon wolf was immediately stunned. No, I don't seem to have hurt you at all. The violent flame has a strong sense of visual impact. Even the younger brother who was watching felt the heat. But what I aimed at didn't hurt you at all. I have to say, your golden shield is indeed a bug-level thing. So why did you retreat? No reason. At this time, the younger brothers who were stirring up the flames saw the little mouse and retreated, celebrating loudly. The boss is amazing. Just use the flames to scare this mighty little mouse away. How about the boss? Sure enough, follow the boss to have a bright future. You look at them. It's a shame. I never imagined that they escaped faster than they attacked. So they were over it. Under the bragging, the magic wolf began to get lost. Right, although I'm not hurting it right now. Crossed out. No, how dare a person like this who is crushed and beaten by me dare to be presumptuous in front of me? And God is coming soon if you don't go. Are you waiting to die? Sure enough, I am the king of the underground forces in Bam City. As soon as his head was raised, the flame tattoos on his whole body began to flicker. This is replenishing energy, but the little brother next to him didn't care, forcing it to blow. Come. No matter how many times I watch it, I still think the boss is so handsome. Boss, the flame pattern is the best in the world. God will definitely feel happy to have a subordinate like the boss. That's right, you've come a long way. The demon wolf glanced at his subordinates, who had a look of bewilderment on his younger brother's face. Follow me and welcome the coming of God. Yes, the other side, closest to the research bazaar in the street. Everyone heard the conversation between Yuan Farron and Professor Su. What? Professor Su, he said, the space-based weapon is about to fall. I'm sorry. It's too cruel to ride a horse. Before, everyone guessed a little, that is, they will not be the last trump card, because, a long time ago, the lightsaber team was sent to investigate the situation in East Afghanistan. Along the way, they gradually approached the truth. I have always reported to Professor Su. Then there was the addition of Su Zhao, the genetic biological warrior. For the first time, they saw a talking mouse, and they had a very high IQ and strong learning ability. Then, they would naturally guess whether Professor Su would still have a whole card, because, with the in-depth investigation, the gods appeared, and the rites of descent were performed by the sacrifice of a large number of civilians. The coming of God is something that will definitely happen with them. A few lightsabers, a few blaster guns, an ion energy shield, and Su Zhao, a genetic creature warrior. It is absolutely impossible to stop. Pen Fun Library. What would that be? The result, space-based weapons. Moreover, this weapon will definitely not be the normal version. You've heard of a move called a strategic weapon strike from the sky. Originally, everyone was still a little afraid of the coming of God. Now, I just feel that he is a little pitiful. Let's go, let's run. Yuan Farron urged everyone. The other three who planned to attack Their desire to attack completely dissipated. Turn around and run without any nostalgia. Just kidding. Space-based weapons come down. They didn't intend to bury this unfortunate guy. The movement of the lightsaber squad alerted the remaining number 9 snipers and number 11 snipers. Sniper number 9 asked in the headset, "Captain, shall we fight back?" Now is an opportunity to fight back, although not necessarily able to kill them. However, it may have a hindering effect. Then, the moment God descends, the worm who commits the crime will know the consequences as a result. Sniper number 11's scolding sound came from the headset. Has God said to fight back? No, no. Sniper number 9 was taken aback by the sudden scold. Then why are you fighting back? We are listening to God, and now he is coming, but you dare to violate. Although, the latter words were not spoken, but the number 9 sniper was scared out of a cold sweat. It's so dangerous. I was almost killed by my own stupidity. God has come before you, and you have disobeyed all of him. Do you still want new abilities? Can you be a worshipper? Dream it. Yauno. I must find a chance to thank the captain. Sniper number 9 said in his heart, the god of the pentagram is the god of life and death, likes to be called the god of death. His power comes from the rotation of the pentagram. The root of this is the development of the so-called theology by virtue of the advanced technology of the country Pen Fund Library. In the end, it was unified into the science of the pentagram. In order to turn the pentagram, enough sacrificed creatures must be provided. Extract the life energy from it to strengthen its own strength. Those civilizations that have successfully summoned it, let it come. Death will grant their little wish. This wish is to let it live forever. The way is, sacrifices must be made on time every once in a while in order to maintain its eternal power. In fact, the real situation is the god of death extracts the life source of the sacrifice and transmits it to those humans who need immortality through the rotation of the pentagram. The energy required for immortality only accounts for a very small part of the sacrifice. Other large amounts of energy have become everything to himself. This is the source of his power. With the complete solidification of the phantom, Death slowly opened his eyes. It's another resource-rich planet, and it's a good thing to develop my subsidiary civilization here. It seems that it is indeed a good way to let meteorites sail in the universe, because it is only the advent of projection. He does not have 100% of the power of the real body, but it doesn't matter. There is nothing in this world that can stop me. Looking down, he saw the devout believer crawling on the ground and saw the lightsaber squad fleeing like a prodigal dog. Pursed lips. But so, sooner or later, I will completely conquer this planet. Before that, the first thing to do is tell everyone that their god has come. The light on his body began to dissipate with a whoosh. He turned in all directions. Chapter 306. The darkest hour of humanity. Those scattered radiants are the divine energy on its body, and it has many functions. This is one of the means of death. Intrusion into the network? Huh? Isn't it quantum communication? The technology is really backward. Under the civilization that surrenders to me, the degree of technological development is even counted backwards. If it weren't for the lack of sacrifices, I wouldn't even bother to invade. Forget it. Just use it as my back garden. Sizzle. In the radio network, the radiance emanating from the god of death instantly completed the invasion of the base station. Then, from this moment on, the networks of all countries on the blue star have become the backstage of the god of death. Huh? No. Why is there a country with a small part of the network that hasn't been hacked? Forget it. None of this matters. After all, it's just a small part of the network. Could it affect my overall situation? Impossible. Death selectively began to ignore the sky over East Afghanistan. Became Blue Star's only live broadcast at the moment. I know you're wondering about everything right now. The god of death began to give an impromptu speech. In fact, when the sacrifice ceremony was held in East Afghanistan, he also learned about the behavior of the country on the Blue Star. Begin to adjust the way you speak, in the simplest words, so that all people can understand in their hearts what he is saying. But don't be afraid. I'm here to save you. Specifically, I'm death. That's right. Just what you think. Just be my devout follower, and I'll be able to give you the power you need. Just when the god of death was giving a speech, people in various countries were surprised by the sudden broadcast on the internet. Long ago, a student in a certain area who was watching TV was bewildered. He turned his head and shouted to his parents who were cooking in the kitchen, "Mom and Dad, come and see. Some people say that they are gods, and they also say that they can give us power." The parents who were cooking did not stick their heads out and spoke loudly. "What are you daydreaming about? Let me tell you, even if it really grants you power, become a Superman, you have to read me well. Do you hear me? Got it?" The child pursed his lips. The man who calls himself the god of death on the TV obviously looks terrifying. There is black fog everywhere, the face is hideous, and with a tall figure, the impact is really shocking. Why don't parents believe it? This dead kid, I heard that Xu Teng, the kid next door, Was admitted to Huaking University as a graduate student last year. Hey, it would be great if our child could also be the child of the next door. It's a pity. I'm so old watching TV, and I don't know what to think. Go and see. Children generally don't tell lies. Maybe there is a God on TV. Well, I'll take a look. At this time, all the countries on the Blue Star stage the same scene. What is this? Why would someone say that he is a god? In Xiaoxi, people are constantly expressing their dissatisfaction with the god of death on the TV, starting from the left to the west and the right to the right. Beautiful country. Death? I'll go to your grandma's bear country. You dare to say that you are the god of death, and you have the seeds to fight with me. I will show you what is called EULA. Grim Reaper used to hack the web. Not only can everything in East Afghanistan be broadcast live, but also everything that is happening in front of us can be passed on. It seems that if you don't believe it, you will be punished by God immediately for the serious crime of slandering God. You guys, I sentence you to death. When the god of death said these words, it did not frighten the crowd, even added some jokes. Ziba, what kind of shit is this? God's punishment, judgment? There's something, come over and kill me now. What kind of Ziba? Next second the brilliance began to emerge from the network, bombarded him directly. Boom. The complete person exploded directly. Black mist began to emerge. Everyone around was terrified. What? At this moment, everyone was screaming no. Why would there be no such good-looking person? Ziba. Look at it. The black fog here is the same as the one on TV. Everyone turned their heads a little stiffly. God's punishment, judgment, everything is true. So, he is really the god of death at this time, except for the Dragon Kingdom. Every country on the Blue Star is playing the same plot on the most contemptuous language. Those who slandered the god of death received the so-called divine punishment. The brilliance that suddenly emerged from the TV penetrated directly into the body of the subject. Next second the person who draws the brilliance into the body explodes directly. Black fog emerges and the pentagram swirls. What's more, the majestic words of death will be left at the scene. This is the divine punishment given to you by the god of death. Countless screams sounded in the country on the Blue Star. Until this moment, people don't believe it. What death said turned out to be. There really is a god on this world, or the death god of another civilization, so he is here to conquer Blue Star. Some people have endless despair in their hearts and begin to worry about the future. Through the internet, it is possible to kill people with brilliance. What do you take to resist before him? Feeling the fear of the world, and seeing the world's terrified eyes through the brilliance, death was very satisfied. He, who has conquered many civilizations, knows from this moment on, fear has been planted in everyone's heart like a seed. Everything to do later will become much simpler. It's just a pity that not all countries' networks on Blue Star have been invaded. One named Dragon Country escaped, and Guang, who can't affect the people there, use brilliance to punish others and execute divine punishment. It is necessary to fully invade the network of that country. However, the Dragon Kingdom was not fully invaded. No one will be punished by God. Clearing his throat, Reaper continued his speech. So, my subjects, submit to me. I will bring you strength. The screen starts to jump. God's chosen people began to appear on the screen. Black mist emerged, and some hands turned into double knives. Armor formed by black fog began to appear on some of them, but these do not give everyone a sense of security. On the contrary, the people were even more afraid. Is this still human? Why would anyone be willing to be like this? At this time, the top leaders of various countries are also arguing. Hurry up, go and contact the leaders of the beautiful country to see if they can achieve a blow. The leaders of the West 8 countries roared, calm down, our network has been completely hacked. Beautiful country, can our weapons hit the so-called god of death? Unfortunately, no. The network has been completely compromised. The former collapsed with a face ashen. Is there really no way? Let death conquer the entire Blue Star like this. Despair began to grow in everyone's heart at this moment. The darkest hour of mankind and Long Kingdom, somewhere in an aerospace base. Chapter 307, the space-based weapons are coming. Numerous researchers are staring at the huge central screen. Estimated strike time, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. They were constantly speculating about each other. Can this space-based weapon that fell down really be able to solve the so-called god of death? If it can't be solved, all the countries on the Blue Star will be in trouble. In just a few minutes, a lot of news was passed to everyone's ears invading the country's network through the brilliance. Almost all countries have been caught. Some people were not convinced, and expressed contempt for death through the TV. Then, the light coming out of the TV entered the body pen fun library. Immediately die, murder over the internet, and the black fog and pentagram that came out have become the specific symbols of the god of death. Later, It began to spread on TV about becoming the chosen people of God. The black mist really brought power to the devout believers. The hands turned into double knives, and the body was covered with armor formed from black mist. So many, judging from what was broadcast on TV, the human beings transformed by the black mist were very strong. Even ordinary people can have the strength of a soldier king can. The point is, does that really count as human? Can anyone really do that? Blue Star has so many countries and people. Some people must be unwilling, but even the network has been completely invaded. What other weapons can be mobilized if none of the space-based weapons that are about to fall can defeat the so-called death god? The human race has been crushed. In other words, before it begins, it is over. All nations will be shrouded in the shadow of death. The people in the space base have not yet been enveloped in despair. That's because the network here has not been invaded by death. The space-based weapons in the sky are targeting the god of death and attacking. In fact, the most important point is that their Professor Xu did not have any worried expression on his face. As always, be confident. This is just one point, and the other point is that everyone is puzzled. The brilliance of the death god can invade the network and then grasp all the movements, but why their space base is the exception? Hat one not hat. Is it also because of Professor Xu? Some people have already guessed in their hearts, only it was not spoken. Take a look at the estimated strike time on the screen ahead. Xu Teng turned his head and asked, have the lightsaber squad and Suzhou already been out of range? The lightsaber team has a satellite positioning phone, and Suzhou has a ring that can specifically locate these two things. Are now in a direct open state. Let Xu Teng know the location of the two all the time. The researcher next to him immediately turned his head and replied, report, the lightsaber team has the last 100 meters before leaving the impact position. Report, Suzhou has left the area where he will be hit. Xu Teng replied, saying that he already knew. He glanced at the big screen in front of him again. Estimated strike time, 1 minute and 20 seconds. The last 100 meters, with the physical fitness of the lightsaber team, must be far less than 1 minute and 20 seconds. One more self-check at the end of the day to ensure that the space-based weapon can hit the god of death with precision. Clear. Following Xu Teng's order, the surrounding researchers began to get busy. Check the data continuously. Longitude and latitude are checked again, and it has been confirmed. The self-test of the tungsten rod has been completed, and there is no problem. Propulsion fuel is sufficient. No problems found. Just when everyone in the scientific research base conducted the final self-check of the space-based weapon at this time, the god of death was very satisfied with everyone's reaction. Just like the civilization he once invaded, he never believed, resisted, suppressed, and finally completely obviated another back garden. Death sighed. In this way, his power will rise again unexpectedly. This time, just a phantom projected by the sacrifice can complete all the invasions. It's much easier than the civilizations I have come into contact with before. Well, those lowly chosen people of God should also give them some benefits. After all, in the future, we have to rely on these dog legs to complete the rule of Blue Star. You can't take all the benefits and don't give them a share. The only thing that's not good, it's because the radiant ability is activated, which consumes too much energy at this time. He is not yet able to act. Can only fixed station here. The sniper below doesn't know what death is thinking. Just extremely excited. Will really held on and scared off the group of puppies. They looked so embarrassed when they ran away. Haha, we can finally be promoted to sacrifice, and our status can be improved. Enjoy the admiration of all people and have that sacred position. At this time, it wasn't just them who fell to the ground. There was also the demon wolf that came out of the ground, breathing heavily and kneeling with a group of younger brothers. Sacrifices and high priests. All the living forces in East Afghanistan are kneeling down reverently before the god of death. Although the types of creatures are different, the thoughts in everyone's mind are the same. From today onwards, they are true nobles. Grim Reaper is enjoying all this, and this moment is broadcast live all over the world. Have you seen it? This is to submit to my subjects. If you choose the same as them, I can guarantee that you will be prosperous and rich in this life. Everyone on the Blue Star listened to Death's gushing speech, but at this moment, there was only one thought in their men's soul: can help us kill him. Just when the despair in everyone's heart reached a climax, they suddenly realized that something was wrong. Huh? Look at you. Why is there a light on the head of the god of death? Bright. Someone wondered, did you have a delusional disorder? Why does the light appear at this time? No, it's true, the former quickly explained. Then everyone looked in the direction of his fingers. The global live broadcast of the Grim Reaper has multiple shots. Only then did everyone realize that something was wrong. Damn it, it's true, there is really light on the god of death. It doesn't seem like an ordinary light. Wait, I seem to have heard of this thing. There was a military fan next to him, and he immediately reacted when he saw this scene. What thing? Someone also guessed it, and even his tone became excited, but he didn't dare to say it, for fear of accidentally breaking the fantasy at the moment. Heaven, Xianji, weapon, space-based weapons. Chapter 308 Tortoise Shell Defense, breaking. When everyone present heard this sentence, they were first stunned, and then ecstatic. Some people don't know what space-based weapons are, turning his head and asking, then, what is that? It looks very oppressive. Of course it's very oppressive, someone replied excitedly and began to popularize him. The so-called space-based weapons refer to those launched by on-orbit, Earth orbit or other star orbits, weapon-carrying platforms, satellites, space stations, etc., which are used to strike enemy ground, underground, sea, on-orbit strategic targets and harmful extraterrestrial. A new concept weapon system for the target, it can be understood as a weapon strike that fell from the sky. Then, are we saved? Following the question of this sentence, everyone began to murmur, yes, are we saved? At this time, this idea appeared in everyone's mind. Death is already the representative of evil in the eyes of everyone. Pentagram, human transformation. Everything has been out of the category of human beings. Originally thought that blue star was about to fall, but now this weapon strike from the sky has raised hope in everyone's heart. East Afghanistan, north of the city of Bam. Grim Reaper, who was broadcasting worldwide, also noticed something falling from the sky. This is a space-based weapon. As the god of death who invaded multiple civilizations and at the same time used it as a civilization's subsidiary country, he naturally knew what this weapon was once, on the road of aggression. It was not that he was not hit by such weapons, but in the end, it was still safe and sound. Just, why is there such a thing? Did I invade the networks of all the countries on the blue star? Seeing that the tail was wrapped in the billowing heat, death fell into silence. Why does it feel that the space-based weapons this time are a bit different from the previous blows? Oh, by the way, there is another country that does not have a network that has not been invaded. In my impression, that seems to be called the Dragon Country. Is it them? Yes, it must be them. Unexpectedly, it was the country that was not hacked into the network in the end. Actually, there's such a big mob. It's not a space-based weapon. It's not that I have no experience of being hit. I want to use this as to beat me. I really look down on my death. If it hadn't consumed too much energy, it wouldn't have been able to move. Death will even take the initiative to meet the blow of space-based weapons against him. Well, so many people can see my actions now. Let them see what my true power is as a god of death. A thought moves near Bam City. The formations engraved with pentagrams began to light up in order to summon the god of death. Let it come. The sacrifice. The high priest offered enough sacrifices during this time. Even civilians on the entire street became sacrifices. A part of the source of life was extracted and became the energy needed for the coming of death, and another part of the energy still exists on the altar of the pentagram at this time. They were all summoned and used by the god of death in an instant. Countless radiance spewed out from the five-pointed star everywhere, and even the black fog began to transform, and it was rendered into a brilliant radiance. At this moment, the god of death has a little more holiness. People can't help but doubt, is this really the god who can use the black mist to transform human beings? The younger brother, who was kneeling at the bottom, began to look excited at this time. God, let everyone see your dazzling might. God, let the ignorant world witness how powerful you are. Pentagrams began to rise from the ground, revolving around the god of death. A dazzling light began to connect light beds. Dang dang dang. As the sound kept ringing, a tortoise-like defense appeared in front of everyone's TV, folded together layer by layer, blocking death's head. This, can space-based weapons really work? Long Kingdom, inside an aerospace base. The surrounding researchers began to report to Xu Teng. The lightsaber squad has left the danger zone. Well, good, Xu Teng replied lightly, so calm. Sure enough, it's Professor Xu. At this time, the nervous emotions of the people around were written on their faces. Although, I don't know why the god of death didn't go, but everyone knew that he was just planning to use space-based weapons to gain power, shatter everyone's illusions, and the layers of defense turtle shells formed really makes the tension reach to climax. Someone couldn't help but ask, Professor Xu, can it really work? Hearing this question, everyone turned to look at Xu Teng. I saw the latter, with a faint smile, but there was a trace of ruthlessness on his face. Just him? Death? Don't worry, he will die today. Everyone was stunned. The expression on Professor Xu's face was disdain. Rare, the god-killing version of the space-based weapon, although not completely built according to the blueprint. But your god of death isn't your real body, it's just a phantom. It was you who killed. Estimated strike time, 5 seconds. Everyone starts to mentally time, for when it was almost before the eyes, The god of death realized how this space-based weapon was a little different. There seems to be a thruster on the bottom. The front of the warhead has a faint reflection of light. 3. No, we have to strengthen our defenses too. The pentagram started again. 1. All the cascading turtle shells began to spin and light up. At that moment all the audiences around the world are watching. There is only one thought in my mind. It must be broken. When a space-based weapon with a huge kinetic energy and a tortoise-shell defense of the god of death first come into contact, the latter felt wrong. The light reflected from the front warhead, like a sharp blade, stabbed the tortoise-shell on defense. Although the pentagram kept turning, the linked beads all lit up, but like thin paper, it was immediately shredded by the light in front of it. Boom! Everyone heard a sudden explosion. I saw that the originally mighty tortoise-shell defense was directly penetrated by the space-based weapon. It was followed by bang 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 bang. Like dominoes, the first one falls, and the others fall one by one. The tortoise shell's defense was breaking, but the light reflected on the space-based weapon gradually dimmed. Everyone's heart was pulled. The god of death was stunned for a moment. He didn't expect the tortoise shell defense that was always unfavorable in the past to collapse so fast. Now the space-based weapon is a bit different. Immediately afterwards, he shouted, "It's not over yet." The pentagram beside him immediately spun, and the speed was dazzling. Light began to emerge around him. Chapter 309 Online Beaten. Unlike the tortoise shell defense just now, all the brilliance was mixed. This time not only did it form a piece of armor on the body of the god of death, it also turned into a bright cloth. This is the god of death mobilizing all the energy to form star armor and radiant barrage. The former can resist attacks, the latter can maximize energy absorption. In the past, when death invaded other civilizations, it is by this means that the space-based weapons are defended. The god of death, who took protective measures, faced the space-based weapons that came over. The light on the front warhead has disappeared at this time. A jet-black tungsten rod was exposed. Without a trace of light, all the projected light was absorbed by it. Boom! A deafening sound began to sound at the moment of contact between the space-based weapon and the radiant barrage. An explosion occurred. The glowing barrage was concave inward little by little, and around it, explosions continued to be generated, and energy began to be continuously absorbed. Will it really be blocked? At this time, the palms of the people watching in front of the TV are all sweaty. In the next second, the so-called brilliant barrage was directly pierced by the tungsten rod. Boom! A violent explosion sounded. The dazzling radiant barrage was all bombed. At this moment the brilliance of the sky has become the embellishment of space-based weapons. Intense flames burned in front of the tungsten rod, and the billowing white air around them impacted everyone's senses. Oh not! Death screamed in his heart. The radiant barrage that filled him with confidence was directly pierced as soon as it came into contact with a space-based weapon available before from other civilizations. The projected space-based weapons have been intercepted by the radiant barrage at this time. Until this moment, his heart was filled with fear. Pen Fun Library. What the hell is this? Why does the network of this civilization still stay on the wireless signal, but it has such a terrifying space-based weapon? Boom! The next second, the star armor was directly hit by the space-based weapon. The tall figure of the god of death was originally suspended in the air, giving everyone a visual impact. This is also the result of his deliberate creation. This builds majesty and makes people surrender. The star armor worn on the body, the shining brilliance, also has a sense of holiness. But this moment, the space-based weapon with huge kinetic energy directly inflicted heavy damage on the god of death. The tall figure began to be suppressed. Hit from the sky to the ground. Boom! Billows of dust rose up on the scene, and the so-called star armor began to dim. The believers who were kneeling not far away looked up at this scene stunned. No, it can't be. Death, being suppressed. The priest stammered these words. The high priest was also stunned. Are you a god? The way he appeared was so handsome. He used the brilliance to control all the networks on the blue star. As long as others express a little doubt to you, they will go to hell. Our glorious career has just begun. A journey you won't perform an online beating in the eyes of the world. Die. Although the situation at the scene was a little bad, the high priest still stabilized his mentality on the surface. Gujing said calmly, I believe in God. He will definitely be able to lead us to glory. No, when you say you believe, can you relax your tone a little bit? It's hard for me to believe you when you speak in this tone. And the wolf was stunned. It seemed to understand now why the guinea pig backed away without being defeated by it. Feelings don't want to be affected by the space-based weapons that were smashed down. I won't be buried with me. The god of death regrets this moment. He didn't think that the space-based weapon that fell down would have several ways to restrain him. One is the bright light reflected off the warhead broke his tortoise shell defense. One is a jet-black tungsten rod, which seems to be able to swallow even light. Smash the brilliant barrage directly. It is clear that the radiant barrage can absorb the energy of the explosion. But this time, the explosion directly caused the radiant barrage to tear. The energy generated by the so-called explosion directly exceeded the limit that the radiant barrage could withstand. The last one is the thruster at the bottom. No, why do you have a thruster at the bottom of the space-based weapon? You are riding on a horse. Are you still talking about martial arts? The good thing is to use gravity to kill. The star armor on the body began to crack when it was dimmed. Kakaka. A crackle sounded from the part that first came into contact with the tungsten rod of the space-based weapon. It split from top to bottom once something starts. It can't be stopped. Even the thing about being beaten is the same. A large piece of brilliance began to fall off the armor of the stars, and the cracks traveled quickly during the period. Then it spread to the whole boom. The deafening voice sounded again, but this time, the star armor on Death God exploded directly. The dazzling brilliance began to drift from the sky. Yingguang is a little bit. It is really beautiful. It was originally used by the god of death to embellish himself, in order to highlight his divinity. At this moment, it has become the background board. Perform a beaten background board on Linaboom. With the shattering of the star armor, the so-called divinity of the original death god began to disappear. A thick black mist began to spew out. Death has become what he was originally, bloodthirsty and aggressive. All of his power comes from the sacrifice of sacrifices. It is to extract the source of life in it to construct its power system. The so-called brilliance and dazzling stars are just the appearance used for disguise. Do not. The god of death, who was hit by the space-based weapon, spat out a mouthful of blood and cried out in despair. Until this moment, his heart was filled with fear of death. Boom. The next second, the sky-based weapon that fell from the sky directly smashed the god of death on the ground at the last moment. All the devout believers who were kneeling down raised their heads. Dumbfounded, the priest shouted in his heart, "High priest, didn't you say you want us to believe in God? High priest, I don't even know if I'm on a horse. Why would he be beaten all over the world? Devil wolf, I've been fooled immediately. My feelings are much more stupid than a guinea pig. Come to a site to be buried with you." Only the number 9 sniper scolded in his heart, "Where's Ganyang? The sacrifices you promised are glorious and rich. I'm afraid I'm blinded by lard, so I will believe you." Dust splashed, and a mushroom cloud rose from the scene. All the surrounding buildings were instantly blasted away by a spreading shock wave. Immediately afterwards, the bright light rose up, and the audience watching all over the world closed their eyes without exception. At this time, everyone heard the voice of the god of death. Chapter 310, Crucify the God of Death. The position of Blue Star in the universe has been determined by me, long ago. You wait, I will come back eventually. At that time, I will make every inch of the land on the Blue Star. The war is raging, and the people of every country will have their families broken, people dead. The last words, especially the last few words, were hoarse and resentful. It penetrated a violent explosion and lingered in the hearts of everyone. The god of death that suddenly descended on the Blue Star caused a huge impact on the hearts of everyone in a very short period of time. Is there a god on this world? He can also pass through a long distance through the ceremony of descending and truly descend on the Blue Star. Not even a real body, just a phantom. Can invade all the networks in the world through the brilliance of the body. He can even use the brilliance to kill those who disrespect him. Showed absolute crushing, especially that pentagram, that pervading black mist. The former can form a defense like a turtle shell, and the latter can be combined into dazzling radiant barrage and star armor. It caused a huge impact to everyone on Blue Star. We all live in the age of technology and believe in all science, but why? Now there is a theology that can crush all the technologies on Blue Star if it's not a strike from a space-based weapon that pops up out of nowhere. The god of death, with a projected phantom, can conquer all the countries on the Blue Star. Although the power of this space-based weapon is truly incredible, broken the tortoise shell defense, pierced a brilliant barrage, and shattered the star armor. Even the god of death was nailed to death, but the audience around the world didn't have the slightest excitement in their hearts at this time, because the last sentence of the god of death, the position of Blue Star in the universe, has been given by him, and the space-based weapons of the Dragon Kingdom make him full of hatred. Originally he just wanted to have some believers. After all, when the world was broadcast live, the chosen people of God that he absorbed in East Afghanistan appeared on TV, but now, his emotions were clearly expressed in his resentful words. He wants to make all the countries on the Blue Star bleed for it. Families are broken and people are slaves. The technology possessed by the Reaper civilization must have developed into the interstellar age. But what about the countries on the Blue Star? Can only launch manned aircraft, spaceships and probes. The level of technology is far too different. How to fight? Then, originally, the joy of seeing the god of death being nailed to death by a space-based weapon was diluted a lot by the world's live broadcast. Most of the emotions that come out are fear. Just now, the god of death seems to have said that the position of Blue Star is located by him, and he will kill him with his cosmic fleet. A blonde woman with big waves said in fear. Yes, yes, what to do? It's all to blame for the dragon country. We are finished. That's right. It was possible to survive originally, you see, those chosen by the gods, but now, we have to bury the dragon country with us, riding on a horse. Why did Longuo launch a space-based weapon? It's going to be endless, that's right, lose money. If the army of the god of death comes over, let them die. At this time, a person from the dragon kingdom in the tavern couldn't stand it any longer. He took the surrounding wine bottles and smashed them down at the bar, roaring, "Gan your mother, after the death of the gods, your beautiful country has a voice? Like a son of a bitch," shivering, "if it weren't for our dragon country to shoot down with a sky-based weapon, all of you are now his blood slaves and God's chosen people. You are his dogs, and you don't even have the dignity of being a human. That pentagram is not a good thing. It was our Dragon Kingdom's space-based weapon that saved all of you and liberated Blue Star." The surroundings fell silent in an instant. To a certain extent, it does. If it weren't for the Dragon Kingdom's space-based weapon, the god of death would have been nailed to death. Today is the day when people from all countries on the Blue Star become slaves of death, but there are people who don't eat this set and want to take the opportunity to mess up everyone. Don't listen to him. It's the Dragon Kingdom that keeps us and the god of death immortal. It's all their fault. When the time comes to fight, let the people of the Dragon Kingdom go to die. Bang sound. A wine bottle flew over and exploded his head. Miss Ganny. The two scuffled instantly, and the pub was in chaos. Dragon Country, an aerospace base. Everyone was stunned to see what had just happened in the morning. They had just built space-based weapons and completed the conception of a new type of strategic weapon by the Dragon Kingdom for more than 10 years. Everyone was very happy. There was even a discussion about whether to hold a celebration dinner in the evening. Immediately afterwards, a satellite positioning phone call from the lightsaber team came in just a few dozen seconds. Everyone saw it. Penfun Library, a cosmic civilization that has never been seen or even heard of, appeared in front of everyone. Along the way, there was a god of death that they didn't even dare to imagine. Then, it is the launch of the newly constructed space-based weapon. At the time, a small group of researchers felt strange. Why use such a powerful weapon to deal with a person with the name of the god of death? But what happened next was beyond everyone's imagination. Brilliant. Hack the network. Murder over the internet. East Afghanistan, on the surface, is like everyone else, but secretly it has long been out of the category of normal human beings. Fear instantly spread across the globe, and despair began to emerge. No country can act defensively. Nuclear bombs, hydrogen bombs, and ocean-going missiles all seemed to be done. Then, a few seconds before everyone was completely desperate, everyone in the base saw a space-based weapon falling from the sky. Tortoise shell defense, radiant barrage, star armor. Death did everything he could. They just found out that, within a few days, the space-based weapon completed under the leadership of Professor Xu was actually so powerful. After the crucifixion of God of Death, his words were heard by all. Others are coming for revenge. Endless death. How can this be done? We seem to only have space-based weapons, but he will never be fooled again. Everyone turned to look at Xu Teng, waiting for his words, because no one thought that everyone would work together. Professor Xu never left the space base, but he was able to plan the entire operation. Genetic creature warrior, Su Zhao god-killing Xianji weapon. This time, Professor Xu will definitely be able to do it. At this moment, Xu Teng was listening to the system prompt. Since the dust has cleared, after seeing the god of death nailed to death by a space-based weapon, a series of prompt sounds appeared in his mind. Ding. The god-killing version, the space-based weapon has been completed. Trigger quest, killing god. Ding. The god-killing mission has been completed. In front of the global audience, successfully nailed the phantom of the god of death with a god-killing Xianji weapon. P.S. The next chapter is to enter the content of the next volume. Then the technology entered the interstellar age. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 311, The First Generation Individual Soldier. Micha. Search is successful. Evaluate the task. Intimate remarks. Originally, this day was the day when the god of death conquered the Blue Star, and even he himself thought so. Who knew that a weapon that fell from the sky would shatter his illusion? The advent of mighty power has become a performance to be beaten in public. Rewards are being drawn. The reward has been drawn. Reward energy points. 30. Acquired energy points. 100. Meeting the requirements for awakening the system. Reward contribution value. 1,000. Acquired contribution value. 5,000. Meeting the requirements for system upgrade. Drawings extracted. Artificial intelligence technology. Complete drawings. Drawings extracted. First generation individual soldier mecha. Golden blueprint. Intimate remarks. Mecha technology does not come out of thin air. If you don't complete the pre-mech technology, even if you give you blueprints, you won't be able to develop. Sound Nian, listen to the old man's advice. First complete the development of all the pre-technologies. The moment when the sky-based weapon fell and the god of death was crucified. Xu Teng thought about it. This time the task may be very rich. I never thought it would be so rich. The energy point has reached the requirements and can wake up the sleeping system. The contribution value of the system upgrade also meets the requirements, and the system can be upgraded. The most critical point is that the artificial intelligence technology with complete drawings has been extracted, as well as the drawings of the first generation of individual mechas. That's a mech. Every civilization has developed to a certain level. Which soldier does not imagine that he can have a single soldier mecha, a proper war individual killer? The defense has been improved a lot. And the frontal cannon is tough, absolute war mobile fire fortress. Moreover, the open drawings are still golden again, although the intimate remarks of the system have been marked. To produce mecha first requires a lot of pre-technologies, but as far as Xu Teng's current technology is concerned, there is already a part of the front-end technology. The problem of power and energy most needed by mechas has been solved. The magically modified Milovsky particle device can provide it. Compared with a modified tokamak device, it has more power and longer battery life. When the space-based weapons were produced, the hardness of the tungsten rods had already been identified on the drawings. The technology of star iron showed its powerful effect when fighting against the god of death. The tortoise shell defense was broken, the radiant barrage was torn apart, and in the end, the star armor was even smashed directly. Even Gaut's proud defenses can be shattered. It is absolutely no problem to become the primary material of the mecha to a certain extent. The technology of refining star iron has been ahead of other countries on Blue Star for many years. Even pretty countries' production technology can't match it, so it doesn't take long to complete the production of the mecha. The only important problem now is that artificial intelligence technology needs to be broken first. With artificial intelligence in the construction of mecha, it will be able to do more with less. Well, I will find time to apply for a new project, the development of artificial intelligence technology. I just don't know what effect it can bring after the system wakes up. And system upgrades should still be able to unlock new technologies, Xu Teng murmured when he came back to his senses. Then, looking up, I found that the surrounding researchers looked at me with a strange look. What happened to you all? Xu Teng asked curiously. This question was almost impossible for the researchers next to it. No. You didn't hear what the god of death said at the end, Professor Xu. Then, the assistant stepped forward and reminded cautiously, Professor Xu, before he was nailed to death by the space-based weapon, the death god said a paragraph, roughly meaning that the position of Blue Star has been exposed, and after being positioned by him, he will eventually bring the army over and let everyone pay their debts with their blood. Actually, when everyone in the space base heard this with their own ears, even if he is not afraid of death, he is still a little nervous. Although death did not use too much technology this time, but he used his own brilliance to invade the networks of all Blue Star countries and force everyone on Blue Star to watch the live broadcast. A pentagram that appeared during the period, the black fog. It seems to be theology, but many researchers are all aware of it. That's just based on theology. It's actually technology, and these technologies are all unmatched by the Dragon Kingdom. Today's space-based weapons are indeed powerful, but it is difficult for others to be fooled again. It is not a good thing to be targeted by a civilization stronger than oneself. Xu Teng turned his head to look at his colleagues. Think for a moment, and understand the twists and turns. Clap your hands, make a sound, and let everyone look over. I would like to ask, after the death of God, he invaded the networks of other countries on Blue Star. Has he invaded the network of our scientific research base? Everyone was stunned and replied, no. By the way, he doesn't. Think about it. Whether he is unwilling or unable to do it, death wants to establish prestige on a global scale. It is impossible not to invade here, so he can't do it. Congratulations, you got the answer right. Now, you should understand why we can let the space-based weapons hit the god of death. Xu Teng didn't understand at first why death didn't invade the network here. After hearing the sound of the system prompt, I understood it is not because of the interference of the existence of energy points, or the existence of interference of contribution values. In other words, what death can't do now, he can do in the future. What about the positioning? Since I can let the space-based weapon smash on his head, let his society die in a wave of global performances and melt in public, After that, I will definitely be able to make the same plot happen again. Without our space-based weapons? We will have more trump cards. Just him? Still want us to pay our debts with blood? As long as we dare to come, I will let him know what it means to have no return. With Xu Teng's last sentence falling, the confidence of the researchers has been boosted again. That is, space-based weapons can crucify your phantom. Could it be that when your fleet comes in the future, it won't kill you? The span of interstellar civilization has always been long under the leadership of Professor Xu. There is so much time to develop. We Longu are afraid of you, not to mention, we already have anti-gravity engine technology. Rush to the stars, it's only a matter of time. Professor Xu said it well. Just let him come. Do you really think Long Kingdom is afraid of him? Isn't it Starfleet? There are anti-gravity engines. Can't we produce them? That's it. What the hell? Space-based weapons can crucify your phantom. Maybe, in the future, we will use mecha technology to beat you to death. The gloomy atmosphere in the scientific research base was swept away, and the emotions of the scientific researchers began to rise. Chapter 312. Open the arsenal and unlock the wonders of science and technology. Turning his head, he saw that everyone's emotions had begun to recover. Xu Teng said, "So, we don't need to be afraid at all. We can do whatever we need to do today." Hearing this sentence, the assistant understood. He immediately replied, "Everyone should listen to Professor Xu. Today is a good day. The heaven-based weapon nailed the god of death. If I really want to elaborate, it is the day of Blue Star's liberation. Also, our space-based weapon experiment was successful, and it killed God from the beginning. Therefore, everyone should participate in the celebration banquet tonight. Don't get drunk." One sentence ignited the enthusiasm of the researchers in the base. That's right, we just built the space-based weapon in the morning, and it was put into use immediately. We also nailed the god of death. It's worth celebrating. Yes, the days of escaping death don't happen often. If you don't get drunk, you will be sorry for today's good day. Haha, in a way, aren't we Blue Star's heroes? Hey, what you say makes sense. Let me tell you, when I was a child, my dream was to be a hero. I didn't expect it to come true today. At this time, the senior scientific researcher who stood by and witnessed the whole process reacted. What happened today really shocked their three views. Within days, space-based weapons were developed. Result, but suddenly alien civilizations appeared. Those who used to say that they wanted to confirm the existence of aliens were finally satisfied. Unfortunately, others are not friendly. He even wanted to turn all the humans on the Blue Star into slaves. That's not the point. The point is, at this time of crisis, the space-based weapon fell directly from the sky. Only now did they understand the so-called Grim Reaper is Professor Xu's goal all along. Professor Xu. How did you expect it? Someone asked. I don't know. Maybe this is Professor Xu's strength. It's really high. After the death of the god of death, those vows of hatred, for others, it is estimated that they will not be able to eat. But look, Professor Xu, the latter words were not elaborated. Everyone knows what it means in just a few words. The confidence of all the researchers was brought back. Even emotions began to run high. Not the god of death. I can crucify you the first time. When your fleet arrives at the Dragon Country after a long time, I will certainly let you know what it means to have no return. It's true that there are enemies coming. Even if you are far away, you will be punished. Yeah, if God of Death knew that his last 8 words were released, we were eating hot pot, drinking wine, and singing songs to celebrate, I don't know how angry we would be. Ha ha ha, it deserves it. I have to say, Professor Xu, this kind of young man won my heart. That's not right. I heard that Li Rongshen, the boy, said that Professor Xu has a talent for making weapons. For this sentence, everyone nodded no. Space-based weapons kill gods in front of so many audiences around the world. Not your average weapon talent from now on. Isn't it that technology is a little behind? Give Professor Xu a little time, and he will definitely be able to lead everyone to glory. At this point, everyone believed it. Interstellar age, mechas, spaceships, railguns. Surely there will be before today. Who would have believed that their space-based weapons were used to kill gods? The base, in a small room after sending everyone away, Xu Teng lay on the bed and started to count the rewards he got from the system. There were too many people just now and it was not suitable for viewing. A virtual screen appears. The first one is, the energy point is enough, whether to wake up the sleeping system. Yes, with confirmation a progress bar begins to appear on the virtual screen, 3%, 10%. Xu Teng has always been curious about the arrival of the system. Now his doubts can finally be answered. While waiting to wake up the system, a new inquiry appeared. The contribution value has met the requirements, whether to upgrade the system. Yes, compared to waking up the system, It takes a lot less time to perform an upgrade. It arrived almost in seconds, just like Xu Teng's frequent outgoing calls were answered in seconds. Ding. The system has been successfully upgraded. Current level, LV4, contribution value, 0/50000, compared with a level 3 system. When upgrading again, the required contribution value is directly increased tenfold. So much? Xu Teng frowned. It seems that as the level increases, the required contribution value becomes more difficult to obtain. I don't know if it has something to do with the development of technology. It was originally ground technology, and it was normal for the contribution value to be low, but now it is developing various pre-tech technologies for the interstellar era, and the contribution value has begun to skyrocket. Well, if you can beat the Death God's fleet, you should be able to reap a lot of contribution points. Ding. The badge upgrade points have been obtained. 2 points. Xu Teng, good guy. Your system is really careful. Upgrade points only give 2 points. As soon as he finished speaking, Xu Teng was stunned because he found that with the system upgrade the drones began to unlock a part. To be precise, it's like a part of the arsenal has been unlocked. First generation mecha, artificial intelligence, these are all mission rewards, but besides these, there are other things. Quantum network, dark matter communication, second generation mecha, quantum communication, this Nima. Everyone in Xu Teng was dumbfounded. Originally thought, the system I got was just a poor guy. Now, there are a lot of coveted technologies in it, so, I got a treasure trove in no time. Isn't that on? After the arrival of the Death God's fleet, after all the hardships, I found that I could only be beaten. Just when Xu Teng started to fantasize, a new prompt sound came to his mind. Ding. It has been successfully unlocked. Tech wonder, intimate remarks. I will tell you quietly that technological wonders are good things. Don't fall in love with it because of its powerful effects. People always want to keep a low profile. Don't ask, just ask if you can make a fortune. When Xu Teng turned his attention to it, he was stunned because, as stated in the sweet note, this is really good stuff. Science and technology wonders. After construction, within a certain range, it can accelerate the speed of scientific research, generate a 100% production rate crit, and understand the principle of technology crit, unlock technological wonders, blaster gun, lightsaber, ion energy shield. Technological wonders waiting to be unlocked, space-based weapons, intimate remarks. Don't ask, just ask. We are already in the stage of mass production. P.S. My pace will slow down, mechas will appear, and more than one type of mecha. All kinds of weapons will be matched with a mecha. But I can't write fast, otherwise I will write it as you want, and I will finish it next month. The goal is to write 1.5 million words. Chapter 313 Mu Civilization. Tech spectacle, if not for the drawings drawn by the system with my own eyes. Xu Teng couldn't believe it. There are also buildings, which can speed up technological research. Pen Fund Library. Judging from the drawings drawn by the system, the technological wonder is just a building after completing the construction. Within this range, understand the principles of technology, speed crit, and production rate crit. Overall, it is simply a group active skill of the badge. The difference is, the opening of the badge requires a cooling time. However, once the technological wonder is constructed, it can continue to exert its effect stable and effective. This is what surprised Xu Teng the most. Moreover, judging from the drawings given by the system, the construction of technological wonders is not complicated, or even easy to a certain extent. This can save a lot of trouble. At least not too much human and material resources will be spent on technological wonders. Just when Xu Teng thought so, suddenly a voice came from his mind. That's because I saved you a lot of trouble. Who are you? HMPH, I said earlier that I hoped I could wake up from my deep sleep sooner, but now they ask me who I am. Sure enough, when I was watching the stars with others, I was called Brittany. Now that the new person has replaced the old person, he asked me who I am. System woke up. The first time Xu Teng was pleasantly surprised but immediately felt a headache again. It took a long time for the tone of speaking to become like this. I'm afraid I haven't watched some strange TV series again. HMPH, I didn't watch any strange TV series, Xu Teng, so I plan to change the subject silently. Why did you fall into a deep sleep? What happened before? Hearing Xu Teng's question and answer, the system fell silent. Just when Xu Teng was about to change the subject, the system starts to answer. My predecessor came from another civilization, and many scientists gathered together to develop me, named Galaxy. Although I am an artificial intelligence, my ability to learn is very strong, and I have become the most trusted object of many citizens. It's just that the good times don't last long. Later, having said that, The system's mood fluctuated for a while, and he said through gritted teeth, "One day, the Musi civilization came to our planet. So that was the beginning of the war. The vast fleet of stars, mad believers, and the ubiquitous pentagram. Faced with the attack of the Musi civilization, we have never yielded and kept fighting, from the first year of the Xing calendar to the 50 years of the Xing calendar. We originally thought that the Musi civilization was just a civilization, but we found out later, it turns out that there are a lot of affiliated civilizations under the Musi civilization. Until then, we didn't know that most of the wars with us were affiliated civilizations. Mouse civilization rarely appears, so we decided to carry out the assassination plan. With a huge import of information, I started to deduce and calculate non-stop. Just when I was about to calculate the result, the god of Musi civilization, the god of death, suddenly descended on our native land. All the anti-aircraft weapons have all lost their effectiveness. The enemy fleet jumped instantly, entered our territory, and came directly to the sky above the planet. In that last moment, what I saw was, countless cities exploded and smoke filled the planet, and those scientists activated my defense program at the last moment. I was able to escape. The story that Xing told was very short, not even more than 5 minutes, but the tragic level. Xu Teng can imagine from the first year of the galaxy calendar to the 50th year of the galaxy calendar for 50 years, the war on the planet where it is located has not stopped. A civilization that can create an artificial intelligence like galaxy will definitely not be low level, but in this entire 50 years of war, their civilization did not take advantage of it at all. I didn't know until the last moment it is not the native land of the Musi civilization that is fighting against them, it's their civilized vassal state. Gan. A civilization actually has so many affiliated civilization countries to be able to play a full 50 years, has not been exhausted, especially in the end, when the civilization of the galaxy is ready to go all out and carry out the assassination plan. Death, as the god of Musi civilization, suddenly descended, just destroyed everything. The advent of the ontology and the advent of shadow projection, there are so many differences. Xu Teng couldn't help thinking again, the scene of the death of the Shrine of Death in front of a global audience. I performed a scene of how space-based weapons nailed me to death if calculated like this. Isn't Blue Star very dangerous? Just when Xu Teng was about to say something, Xing explained, during the long cosmic wandering, I came to a relic of civilization and got a key, and then, Xu Teng asked nervously, the portrait on the relic of the civilization is that he fought the god of death, and finally successfully used some kind of weapon to seal the god of death, and the key can open the ruin of the civilization. He fought the god of death and finally sealed the god of death, therefore, that civilization relic is the relic of a god civilization. Xu Teng was excited. What are you saying is true? It is true. Then why can the god of death? The latter words Xu Teng did not say. Yes, if the god of death was sealed, why would he be able to destroy the civilization where the galaxy is located? The god of death used to be a tribal civilization, and the strongest person among them inspired unique powers and became the strongest person in order to be worthy of the title of god of death. Xu Teng, who heard the news, was stunned unexpectedly. After the system fell asleep, the news that broke out was so explosive. Tribal civilization death is just a title. Only when a unique power is activated and becomes the strongest person can he deserve this title. No wonder that civilization, full of theological shadows, originally originated here. No wonder. Behind the pentagram is always accompanied by black fog, and the black mist can transform human beings, become double knives. Armor, technology and primitive elements coexist at this moment. Xu Teng understood why he always felt a kind of contradiction. The root is here. If you calculate like that, that piece of cultural heritage must be similar to the god of death. In just a few minutes, Xu Teng felt the ups and downs of his mood. Then, where is that key? When Xu Teng asked this sentence, Xing's face was a little embarrassed. He said slowly, in the arsenal that has not been unsealed. Chapter 314 Pre-Technology Tasks. Xu Teng, you and I talked so much, but finally came this sentence. The sudden turn is such a waste of my expression. Seeing Xu Teng's expression, Xing said a little embarrassedly, don't look at me with that kind of eyes. Don't you have a chance in the future? What chance? Then, Xing said tentatively, or, give me, upgrade. An old slot stuck in his mouth. Don't know what to say. However, in the brief exchange, Xu Teng also got some information. For example, even if the galaxy wakes up, it can only mobilize those arsenals that have been unlocked. Unlocked arsenals cannot be retrieved at the same time. The memory is only partially unlocked. Come to think of it, the civilization that built galaxy was very cautious about weapons. The arsenal is also unlocked sequentially during this period. Xing and the host get along day and night. In order to judge whether the host is trustworthy, then unlock all the arsenals awakening the galaxy from its slumber also had enough benefits. Pen Fun Library. The first point, it is artificial intelligence in itself in the development of technology, can provide many useful suggestions. The second point, it also brought a lot of news about the Mu civilization, especially the last few news. The God of Death is the winner of the title of the tribe's strongest civilization, and needs to unlock unique abilities to obtain this title. He has many subsidiary civilizations, and those civilizations are basically interstellar civilizations. And that last point, there is a relic of civilization in the universe, and the power contained in it can subdue the God of Death and even seal it. Thinking of this, Xu Teng remembered something he had overlooked before. Blue Star had a meteor shower, and meteorites landed in beautiful country. Do you know what civilization fell there? As far as the comprehensive strength of the country on the Blue Star is concerned, beautiful country is far stronger than East Afghanistan. The civilization that descended on East Afghanistan can make such big waves. That beautiful country, isn't it more? Zing frowned. I haven't fully recovered my abilities, I don't have enough information, and I don't know what the civilization that landed there is. Hey, Xu Teng sighed. I hope everything that happened in East Afghanistan can serve as a warning to the beautiful country. Otherwise, perhaps, starting today is the beginning of an era of global chaos. Especially, the God of Death said so many cruel words in front of the global audience. It's a good day for the media that likes to confuse right and wrong. I am worried that there is no topic to make it. Xu Teng rubbed his brows. So to speak, he now has several tasks to complete. The most pressing point is this: tech wonders must be built first, because 3 technological wonders are unlocked. So, lightsabers, blasters, and ion energy shields can be mass-produced in a very short time. The task of pushing back a little bit, that is to complete all the pre-technologies in front of the mecha to create a mecha, push the individual strength of individual soldiers to the peak. The next step is to unlock tech wonder, space-based weapons. However, judging from the communication with Xing, to create the technological wonder of space-based weapons first, it is necessary to upgrade the technology to the technology of the interstellar age. It seems that it is another pre-tech task. Looking at the white paper full of writing, Xu Teng rubbed his brows. In the past few days, the time was compressed to the limit, and the god-killing version of the space-based weapon was created. Fortunately, I drank Red Star energy liquid a long time ago. Otherwise, such an explosive scientific research experiment, I can't stand it. Boom, thump thump. There was a knock on the door. Step forward to open the door. The person who comes is an assistant first. He saluted Xu Teng respectfully, and then said, Professor Xu, the celebration banquet is ready. Excuse me, are you going over now? Celebration feast? For a while, Xu Teng didn't come back to his senses. After all, in the time just now, he got some shocking news. The turning point is a little too fast, a little uncomfortable. Just now, I happen to be hungry too. Okay, turning around, the assistant began to lead Xu Teng ahead. Unlike last time, this time, it can really be a celebration feast. Death descends on Blue Star in a very short period of time. People will know what is called the absolute gap in scientific and technological strength, and despair if, not the righteous space-based weapon that fell from the sky below. Today is the day when all the nations on the Blue Star became slaves. So, at this celebration feast there are various famous dishes from 8 major cuisines: Sichuan cuisine representative, Yuxiang shredded pork, Kung Pao chicken, representative of Shandong cuisine, grilled abalone in shell, crab yellow shark fin, Cantonese cuisine representative, roasted suckling pig, boiled shrimp, representative of Fujian cuisine, Boda jumps over the wall, hot and sour squid, representative of Su dishes, sweet and sour pork ribs, lion head, representative of Zhejiang cuisine, West Lake vinegar fish, dongpo meat, representative of Hunan cuisine, steamed preserved meat, chestnut braised cabbage heart, representative of Anhui cuisine, Fuleji roast chicken, stewed turtle with ham. There are also a variety of dishes served according to state banquet standards: boiling water cabbage, Wensi tofu, Boda jumps over the wall, a dazzling array of fragrances. Before, because the whole person was in a tense state, in those few days, I didn't eat anything, not in the mood to eat. Looking at the scene in front of him now, Xu Teng couldn't stop gulping. In fact, Xu Teng also ate a lot of delicious food during the space-based boiled shrimp, traditional famous dish. The practices: put the original fresh shrimp directly into the water to cook. The purpose of this is to ensure the deliciousness of the food, because the freshness of shrimp is mainly in 3 aspects: fresh, sweet and tender. Using the cooking method of blanching, it is possible to retain all the fresh parts of the 3 aspects of shrimp meat to eat. Peel off the shell of the shrimp and dip it in the sauce in the small plate. But, What surprised Xu Teng was there are also state banquet standard dishes on the table, for example, boiled cabbage pen fun library. The difference with boiled shrimp is that the method of boiling cabbage is much more troublesome because it is not boiled, but scalded. Use a large spoon to scoop the warm soup and pour over the cabbage repeatedly until the outermost layer of cabbage stems is completely soft, then put the cabbage into the soup pot, and then slowly scoop into the hot soup. During the selection of cabbage, strict requirements also, the soup must be stock the practice of other dishes. The end result is just to taste good. Boiled cabbage is more like carving a work of art. Just when Xu Teng sighed, the taste of this boiled cabbage is absolutely amazing. The door suddenly opened, and a familiar figure walked in. Chapter 315 Absolute Trust. Since the god of death was crucified in front of the whole world, he has spoken words of revenge. The leaders of all the countries on the Blue Star fell into panic because others can invade through radiance and control all networks, and that gorgeous summoning skill. Just relying on these performances, it can be seen that the technology mastered by the god of death is much higher than the technology mastered by other countries on the Blue Star, not to mention the words that death said before finally dissipating. The name of this country can become the focus of the world. People think we is the network of only one country, not hacked. When the global network has been hacked, why did space-based weapons fall from the sky? And how long has it been since this project started? Why is the falling space-based weapon different from what they know by common sense, and can cause destructive damage to the god of death? Others don't know who the researchers who will lead the project will be, but think in one direction. For example, it will definitely be a senior scientific researcher with a high reputation. Only Alan Tam, who was watching the global live broadcast at that time, was immediately stupid. I'm going. This horse is the project that Professor Xu applied for. The so-called imaginary enemy is another civilization of death. I seem to remember that it was only a week ago that the team of the previously unfinished space-based weapons project was transferred to the space base. How long has it been? It was developed and successfully crucified him. Research. When was it so easy? I have to say that since Alan Tam and Xu Teng came into contact, they discovered one thing: there are truly geniuses in this world. Some geniuses may be beyond your imagination to single-handedly drive the entire country's scientific and technological progress. Toot. Not long after death said the words of revenge, Alan Tam's phone rang unexpectedly. This time, it was the Dragon Country boss who was talking to him. Then, Alan Tam was escorted by his subordinates, traveled all the way to the space base. Originally, it was thought that the atmosphere of the space base would be very solidified. After all, there is a technology far beyond current. The powerful opponents hated him and said something like blood for blood. A researcher can feel nervous because the development of science and technology has never been achieved overnight, and it takes a long time to accumulate. Even when he came, Alan Tam had made a draft in his heart what tone and attitude should be used to persuade researchers. Result: as soon as the door was pushed open, they saw everyone who was eating and drinking. There was a cheerful atmosphere everywhere. 8 major cuisines, colorful lights, soothing music. If he hadn't known that this was an aerospace base, Alan Tam would have even thought he was in a high-end hotel. As the party concerned, Professor Xu is now sitting in the center of the entire hall, slowly tasting delicious food while chewing slowly. He kept nodding his head. Alan Tam, is there something wrong with the way I push the door at this moment? He fell into deep suspicion. Then, go backwards and get out slowly. After closing the door, he took a deep breath and pushed it open. Gan, still. That's right. It turned out that I really did not have an illusion. The aerospace base is currently holding a celebration banquet. The people standing beside him have noticed the big boss of the military region. Alan Tam asked, puzzled, Old Tan, what is this for? The latter raised his head and said, I guess I'm too rushed along the way, so I'm hungry. The expression on the other party's face began to twitch, and which of your eyes saw the other party seem to be hungry? Obviously. Others have expressions of astonishment on their faces. Forget it, I don't want to cooked rice. The standard of 8 major cuisines and state banquets. I usually don't eat these things. Even if the sky is falling, there's still a tall man like Professor Xu holding on. So he doesn't panic at all. At this moment, the assistant stepped forward and asked, Old Tan, why don't you have some food? Judging from the expression on your face, I think you will be in a hurry. Tan Yonglin's face darkened and he said, damn it, I have something urgent to discuss with Professor Xu. Also, what's going on with this celebration feast? Hearing Tan Yonglin's question, the assistant laughed. Today is the day to rescue Blue Star, why not celebrate? Besides, even if there is something, it's not about Professor Xu. Well, you see, Professor Xu is not in a hurry at all. Turning his head, Alan Tam looked at Xu Teng, who was drinking soup, who was smashing his mouth. Could it be that in such a short period of time, Professor Xu really had a solution. When Alan Tam walked in front of Xu Teng, the latter raised his head. "You're here, I just have something to look for you." Looking for me? Tan Yonglin was stunned for a moment, and suddenly there was a hint of speculation in his heart. Yes, it is about the follow-up method to deal with the god of death, Alan Tam. As Xu Teng guessed, Alan Tam will find himself in the shortest possible time after all. The global live broadcast this time revealed a lot of things. Some things do need to be well planned only. One thing that surprised Xu Teng was that he didn't talk to Tan Yonglin, but to talk to the big boss of Longo. If this is the case, the construction of technological wonders is not a problem. The real version of the god-killing space-based weapon can also be built faster later, using had a further conversation. Only then did Xu Teng understand one thing. The wonders of technology did not unlock the god-killing version of space-based weapons. The reason is because the space-based did not really create the god-killing version of space-based weapons at that time. In order to be in a hurry, a large part of the drawings drawn from Xing was simplified. The power has also been reduced a lot. Otherwise, it would not be so difficult to destroy the void projection of Death God. Direct kill talked directly to leaders. Xu Teng, who was leaning on the seat, began to close his eyes and think. If other researchers have this honor, it is estimated that they can blow it for a lifetime. But for Xu Teng, the mood didn't fluctuate much. He was a pure man. I was still thinking about how to express my thoughts in a more appropriate way. However, Alan Tam's words made him relax. Our country has devoted all its resources to cultivating you. If so, then everything will be fine. After reaching the destination, there were not even guards along the way to check on Xu Teng. It was also at this time that Xu Teng really understood what does it mean to deplete resources. That is, we will always, absolutely trust Professor Xu. Chapter 316 For Peace. It was only when Xu Teng met the boss that he found out the former has a friendly attitude and smiles, and the atmosphere at the scene is very harmonious. Before coming, he already knew the general development of things from Alan Tam, although he did not do scientific research. But you also know that scientific projects have always been based on years like this. The huge weapons project was completed within a week. True is rare. In particular, in Professor Xu's plan, the envisaged enemy has already been calculated before that. People from all countries on the Blue Star would be interested in alien civilizations because when science develops to a certain level, this idea pops up: will we be the only intelligent beings in the universe? To this end, many propositions have also been developed, and on a very ordinary day but they saw the malice from alien civilizations. Grim Reaper, interstellar civilization. Finally, the intelligent life form that everyone was looking forward to appeared, but this time, he wanted to turn everyone on the Blue Star into his slaves. Professor Xu, do you know who he is? Originally, the boss just asked with the attitude of giving it a try. Result. Xu Teng nodded solemnly and said, I know. No. The former was stunned for a while, then said excitedly, let's hear it. Knowing yourself and knowing your enemy is the only way to be victorious in 100 battles. Then Xu Teng spoke slowly, explaining everything he had heard from Xing. No matter how small, however, a lot of key information is hidden. For example, galaxy, the product of such a high degree of civilization said to be found on a falling meteorite. After deciphering it, I learned the general origin of the god of death and the fact that he has a lot of civilized dependent countries. The more he listened to the back, the deeper the boss frowned, because, for a full 50 years of war, others have fought between the stars. The key to the front is the civilized dependent countries. In terms of strength, it is absolutely crushed. Being held revenge by such an opponent is not a good thing. After a long silence, the boss asked, Professor Xu, what can you do? He had heard about Xu Teng's deeds in a very short period of time. A series of weapons with a sci-fi nature were developed, and he even smashed down a god-killing weapon today when he came. The expression on the latter's face was also extremely calm. It's not like someone who can't do anything. Yes, Xu Teng replied seriously. Really? The boss was stunned. Other people's civilizations are interstellar civilizations, and it is a little difficult for us to even go to space. On the meteorite, I also found something new. There is a relic in the universe, where the method of how to suppress the god of death is recorded, and, on the way here, I suddenly had an inspiration. If I can create a technological wonder in a very short period of time, I can mass-produce today's lightsabers, blasters, and ion energy shields. As for the road to the stars, it is not far for our country. In the space base, we have successfully developed an anti-gravity engine. This time, the launch of the god-killing space-based weapon is a platform based on an anti-gravity engine. It is not difficult to transform it, and it is not difficult for us to enter the interstellar era, and, in the face of God's chosen people, we can create mechas for defense. Xu Teng's series of words directly confused the big guys, isn't it? Are you really just a researcher? Why do I think that you can also grow into an excellent army boss? The god of death seems to have only appeared in the morning, then, it's only in the afternoon, and you have planned all the follow-up general arrangements, so, it's like you made a full coffin for the god of death. As long as the other party dares to come, you dare to put the opposite party in, and even prepare the coffin nails directly nail the whole set. Then, how much time do we have? The boss, after sorting out his emotions, murmured, I don't know. This sentence made the other side nervous. After Xu Teng found out, he smiled and comforted, don't worry, interstellar travel has always been a matter of more than 10 years. It is possible for decades or even hundreds of years, decades, or even centuries actually. It doesn't need to be that long at all. If, under the leadership of Professor Xu, the world will definitely change in 10 years. By the way, your name will be changed from today. The name has changed, Xu Teng asked suspiciously. Well, based on Tade's sire heroic performance, in other words, you directly saved everyone on Blue Star. Plus, your technological achievements. From now on, you are, Academician Xu. Xu, Academician, Xu Teng was stunned. Well, Academician Xu, after the interview between Xu Teng and the boss, the whole person has not recovered. That is, nearly a year ago he was also a regular senior taking graduate exams, but then, the whole life is like hanging up. After walking into Huiking, he met the first academician teacher, his own senior brother Yunsheng, and when he was doing experiments in Huiking, he accepted Teng Heibo's younger brother. Later, I went to the Dragon Academy. I met the academician of the spray. It didn't take long for him to become a professor at the Dragon Academy of Sciences. After that, in Xu Teng's memory, he was constantly participating in scientific research experiments, either on the way to research or research on a new project has been completed, until the moment when the space-based weapon fell on the god of death. He just woke up unconsciously. It has become the advertiser of others at the space base. No matter who encounters him, he will stop and take the initiative to say hello to himself, and this time, there will be almost no objection to getting the title of academician. Turn out to be, before you know it, you've come a long way. Alan Tam, who was standing in the distance, came up. You, go home and take a look. Go home. By the way, I really haven't been back for a long time, but at this moment, he thought of Death's cold eyes. Forget it, let's go back to the space base first. Parents will definitely understand, Xu Teng said as he walked. The developed weapons can be mass-produced immediately. The anti-gravity engine, a modification, can allow us to enter the interstellar era, and there is also the development of the first-generation mecha. Our departure from our homeland is for the sake of future peace. Tan Yonglin was stunned. Yes, our uprooting is not for a future peace. At this moment, the outside world has exploded. The location of the blue star has been located. This sentence means that the positions of all countries are located by the god of death, and they don't have scientists like Xu Teng. To be precise, there is no armed force to face the invasion of death. Chapter 317. Always believe in academician Xu. As a result, the media in each country began to use their traditional smear skills. Dragon Kingdom's space-based weapons, although they suppressed the god of death, also brought devastating consequences. They should pay the price for this stupid behavior. Originally, we were able to negotiate with the god of death. Not everyone will become the chosen people of God, but under the blow of space-based weapons, all of us need to face the disaster of destruction. If there is a war, the people of Longo should rush to the front to fight them. This is their mistake. Yes, such a powerful space-based weapon cannot be handed over to them for safekeeping. It must be handed over to us for safekeeping, so that we will have more confidence to talk when we face the god of death in the future. As the media continued to build momentum, all the countries on the blue star fell into panic and exaggerated the tense atmosphere in the global live broadcast of death. Everyone saw the power of space-based weapons: tortoise shell defense, brilliant barrage, star armor. These are not technologies that any country can currently master, but the result, in the face of the falling space-based weapons, the slightest protective effect has not been achieved. Broken like white paper, it was torn in an instant when the shadow of the god of death dissipated. The bosses of other countries began to realize one thing: does the Dragon Kingdom have this kind of weapon? How have we never heard of it? Pen interest library. If there is a sword in one hand, it is not immediately used. However, the shocking effect is there. After all, dignity is above the sword's edge, so you secretly developed a lot of growth. Gan, we are so scared of you. So, they came up with another way, hoping to use the advantages of public opinion to attack resolutely, not to mention the effect of the space-based weapon. It was to repel the god of death and liberate the blue star. It's just infinitely magnified. The endless side public opinion is constantly magnifying, and everyone has forgotten at the moment when the god of death comes. What is the purpose of using the global live broadcast? What kind of killing did that brilliance cause? Even quite a few people are talking openly about. Cut. It's not the god of death. If it weren't for the space-based weapons to shoot first, our beautiful country, it must be possible to do so. That is, there is that God's chosen person, who can get along very well with the death god. Why must such an irreconcilable conflict occur with him? Isn't it an interstellar civilization? We can definitely do it. Just in the afternoon, Long Guo started to hold a press conference. The venue was packed, and media people from every country wanted to hear what Long Guo would say. Even in the hour before the press conference, some people started advocating in the media, it is absolutely necessary to apologize and hand over the technology of space-based weapons. In this way, dangerous technology cannot be kept by the Dragon Kingdom. At the beginning of the press conference, foreign media instantly buckled a big hat. Excuse me, before the press conference, should you apologize to all the countries on Blue Star first? This sentence instantly caught everyone's attention. Yes, it is strong. At the beginning, the smell of gunpowder was so strong all the foreign media nearby seemed to have discovered big news. Their eyes lit up, and they secretly turned on the sound of the microphone to the highest level. Be sure to hear everything he said. Apologize? The diplomat on the stage snorted with ridicule on his face. Apology? Oh, after your reminder, I think all the countries you are here should really come out and apologize. Why, when the god of death came to Blue Star, all the countries that claimed to have the strongest defense weapons had all the internet paralyzed. The god of death wanted to kill and wound civilians in front of the global audience, but you couldn't even resist. May I ask, are these the strongest defensive weapons your country advocates? It turns out to be so vulnerable. May I ask you, the defense system you are proud of, just like this, can't be used at all. Under a series of rhetorical questions, the reporter who asked the question blushed, although, before the question was asked, he received official hints how to guide, how to change the subject. Who knows, as soon as the other party comes up, he will seize the pain and continue to strike. Good guy, how can I answer your question? I can't answer it at all, because this is what everyone around the world sees. Reality during the time when Death Live established its prestige. They did not respond at all, and the audience waiting in front of the TV was all dumbfounded. Gan, it's really too cruel to hit 7 inches when you come up to open the scar. The reporter from the beautiful country glared at his companions and was annoyed. Mad, isn't this a pig, teammate? Why bring this up? Today's task is to get them to hand over the technology of space-based weapons, so, hurried forward to ask questions. The power of the space-based weapons displayed this time is too powerful. We all believe that the Dragon Kingdom should hand over its technology and hand it over to us for safekeeping. The diplomat on the stage, hearing this question, turned his head with a sneer on his face. It is precisely because the power of space-based weapons is too powerful that we have protected you. But as for you, there is no gratitude at all. Is this how you were educated in your country? Others saved your life, and instead of being grateful, you planned to snatch weapons. No, that's not what I meant. In an instant, a tall hat was buckled, and the reporter panicked. Forgot to tell you, everything is developed by us. Why, did you have the strength to develop it? To ask for our help, just say it directly. Gan, the reporter's face turned green. This is a global live broadcast, so many people online. I'm afraid it will be troublesome to go back this time. In fact, the bosses of Pretty Country have already started smashing things on the other side of the screen. How could such a stupid pig teammate appear? Not only did he not need technology, but he also publicly let Long Guo express that we were saved by them, and even implied that our technology was not good. A diplomat straightened his collar and made his final remarks. This time, we have a press conference for 2 reasons. One point is, under the leadership of Academician Xu, our arsenal is far more than space-based weapons. Here, I would like to reiterate that it is the space-based weapons that saved all the people on Blue Star, and the national defense you trust is weak. Hit. The second point is, we will always believe in Academician Xu, even if Blue Star is positioned by the God of Death. The first time we can crucify the God of Death, we can do it the second and third time. If he dares to come, we will dare to let him truly destruction. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 318, Fleeing Minions. Looking at the expressions on the faces of many reporters around, The diplomat knew that the shocking purpose had been achieved. Turning around, looking at the obviously shocked expression of the reporter under the stage, he said slowly, "As for, you have been advocating that there is room for negotiation with death. Next, I will put a few videos and you will know." With a wave of his hand, the curtain behind the diplomat was torn down, exposing a wide screen. "Please turn on the cameras if you are present." Hearing this sentence, all the reporters began to react. Start greeting your colleagues around you and ask them to get their cameras ready. Not only them, but the viewers who are now standing in front of the TV are curious about the God of Death, how to become the chosen people of God, and under what conditions can the black mist be drawn out of the body, and then begin to transform itself, and what the hell are those spinning pentagrams? As the diplomat nodded, the screen began to light up. "These are what?" Xu Teng once asked Xu Zhao. Whether the video was filmed and got Xu Zhao's affirmative answer. There are many functions on Xu Zhao's ring, and video recording is one of them. After the sound of electricity sounded, a shot appeared on the screen. It's in a closed room. There were 5 people standing in the room, 4 men and 1 woman, 3 men in black uniforms, hiding their whole bodies, and 1 man was surrounded by a medicine box. The only woman began to pray. "Are you willing to sacrifice yourself?" "Willing." "It is good." After getting an affirmative answer, the 3 men began to pick up strange paints and painted pentagrams in the room. When the camera was pushed down, everyone discovered that there was a young man lying on the ground, and there was a pile of dark red material underground, which was dried blood. The reporters at the scene looked a little confused. Someone began to communicate in low voices. "What are they doing?" "It seems to be helping the man. But, if you save a man, why ask if you are willing to sacrifice?" I don't know either." The reporters present were all educated by modern knowledge about theology and things like sacrifice, how much there is resistance. When the pentagram was finished, the 3 men began to take off his black uniform. The familiar black mist emerged, and he opened the skin of his body with his hands and squeezed out blood and dripped into the pentagram pattern. The next second, the pentagram lit up. Part of the brilliance poured towards the woman, and another part of the brilliance began to pour towards the unconscious man lying down here. There was a voice in the black fog, as if someone was whispering. "Is this the voice of the God of Death?" "Seems to be." Some people present were very sensitive to this god of alien culture whose live broadcast caused great panic. 10 seconds later, the light dissipated. The original woman became a pile of bones, but the man's body began to move. This is the so-called sacrifice, relying on the pentagram to extract life substances to achieve the purpose you need to treat. Of course, this is not the main thing. The main thing is, the people of East Afghani are offering sacrifices to summon the God of Death. As you can see, summoning the God of Death is a huge price to pay, and they even started to attack their compatriots. The summons come, requiring a lot of sacrifices in the end, even attacking his own countrymen. Impossible. Someone is starting to get stupid. If this is the case, do you still need to cleanse the God of Death? Still thinking of negotiating with others? Dreaming? I am afraid that when it comes, it is the time when the entire human race perishes. You'll know when you look at it. The next video starts playing. The dark fog that everyone is familiar with began to emerge from the bustling streets. The difference is that the streets here are all shops and full of traffic. The street where Xu Zhao shot the video is the street where the snipers ambushed prevent the lightsaber team from entering the scientific research base, and then the place where street fighting occurs. The video is only halfway through. Audiences around the world were stunned. This horse, the people of East Afghanistan are going crazy in order to gain power and status. He even sacrificed all the compatriots in the entire street. No, this is what the media say. Can you cooperate with this so-called peace of death? No matter what, this will be an endless war. Pen fun library. At this moment, a thought suddenly popped into everyone's mind. The falling sky, the base weapon saved us, so academician Xu saved us all. The next thought is, faced with such a powerful god of death, how should we fight against him? Really, can you win? Just when everyone began to doubt the strength of their own country, Xu Teng received a satellite phone call from Yuan Theron. Audiences all over the world see it through the Grim Reaper live broadcast, but they are different. It is live broadcast. Even Xu Teng simply modified a part of the space-based weapon blueprint given by Xing. It reduces its power a lot, but everyone was still stunned. Mushroom cloud. The dust rises as high as a building, plus the shock wave that spreads over a long distance. They only have one feeling, and that is too shocking. I thought that Xu Teng would have a backer, but I didn't expect such a strong backer. Why did you contact me so late? Xu Teng asked in confusion. The shock wave affected the satellite phone, and we met Xu Zhao later. I have to say, Professor Xu. Oh, academician Xu. Xu Zhao is really amazing. The words haven't been said yet. Xu Zhao was right next to him and asked for credit. No, it doesn't matter who I am. Which project did it come from? If I hadn't come to repair the satellite phone, I don't know how long you would have lost contact. They also heard the global press conference after the satellite phone was repaired. All the networks are playing because of the big deal. They also listened to Xu Teng's news by catching up on other radio frequencies. Not only was he promoted to become an academician, but he was also planning new projects. After the death of the god of death, what happened to his followers? In fact, this is also the information that Xu Teng has always cared about. Maliki said that in the last period of time, he suddenly sensed a powerful force emerging from the body of death. After the incident, we went to the scene to check, but only saw a part of the body. Maliki said after sensing for a while, there were traces of life and began to flee elsewhere. So, we suspect that the minions of the god of death are still on the run. Escape. Xu Teng rubbed his eyebrows. This is not good news. This means that if there are enough sacrifices, they can continue to summon the phantom of death god anywhere on the blue star. Chapter 319 Academician Xu 1 and number 039, T. Prepare to build mechas. Although the ghost of death is projected, he is not afraid something that a single shot of a space-based weapon can solve. However, if it cannot be resolved within a short period of time, let his phantom projection do more things. For example, turning a country on blue star into its subsidiary civilization would also add a lot of trouble. Radiance invades the network, and uses the combination of pentagrams to activate various abilities. These are the things that make Xu Teng extremely headache. In particular, there are many subsidiary civilizations behind the god of death. If it develops its technology on blue star, then it will really make many countries on blue star go to the abyss. Then what can you do? Yuan Farron hadn't spoken yet. But standing beside Su Zhao, he immediately started to answer. Hey, Academician Xu, you're asking the right person. If it's anyone else, maybe there's nothing they can do about death fleeing minions, but we're different. We have a walking humanoid radar. Humanoid radar? Xu Teng was a little puzzled. That's right, it's the mutant you mentioned before. Maliki, you don't know, he is amazing. Not only has he awakened his ability to locate, but he can even pull nearby people into his mind, thus developing the ability to link his mind. Of course, when it comes to this, I have to talk about me again. I have a group of younger brothers under my command. All of the local creatures in Bam City have been taken over by me. Academician Xu, am I very good? How? I didn't embarrass you, Xu Teng. At this time, I heard Su Zhao's confident words. Xu Teng would wonder if all the biological data he obtained from Cheng Duorong were fake. The guinea pig who was autistic in the corner has never even appeared in the camera, but when it became a successful experimental subject of genetic biological warriors, the temperament has changed greatly, and all the symptoms shown are the symptoms of social bullshit. Lightsaber squad. Maliki, I don't know why, but suddenly I feel ashamed to be with this talking mouse. Then you won't come back for now. It's also a very important thing to clean up the fleeing minions. Yes. Certainly successfully completed the task of Academician Xu. After hanging up the phone, the crowd began to gather, discuss how to do it. In Maliki's perception, the minions are roughly divided into two directions to flee. One is to the south and one is to the north. Leave the one in the north to me. After all, in Maliki's perception, it was the devil wolf who fled there with the remaining remnants. If you deal with it, it is not as convenient as me. Su Zhao responded actively. That's okay. Remember to keep in touch and don't disconnect again, okay? He patted the orange cat on the head, and the latter started to jump directly. Crash la la la. Many younger brothers around him all followed Su Zhao just as Su Zhao took credit in front of Xu Teng. After the explosion of Xianji weapons, Su Zhao completely established his prestige in his younger brother. Originally, they just surrendered to the coercion transformed by the mythical biological enzymes Pen Fun Library. Now, it is true surrender from the bottom of the heart, joke on top of their boss. There is a more powerful character, don't you follow them? Must find a way to lick it. Desperately watching Su Zhao's mighty team leave, the lightsaber team was a little complicated. It was obvious that they had trained longer than Su Zhao and received the same task, but after turning around in Bam City, Su Zhao was about to become the king of the underground world, and the team is really a little shabby. Hey, I don't know why I suddenly envy Su Zhao. Why? Look at other people coming out of Academician Xu's laboratory, it's just different. If this time it also appeared in the video sent back, it is estimated that the price of guinea pigs all over the world will increase, although, a bit outrageous, but come on, talking guinea pigs are really cool, okay, who can refuse? In the press conference just now, didn't it say in front of so many people around the world that Academician Xu would develop new weapons? Moreover, space-based weapons are far from the bottom line. Speaking of this, Wang Doi's eyes suddenly lit up. In the past, He did not speak, but this time he took the initiative to speak. Do you think there is a possibility that Mission Su's next project is mecha, machine first? Everyone was stunned. Even Maliki, who is in the state of spiritual connection, became quicker. Please, if there really is a mecha that can be operated, what else could be more handsome than this? What, you say talking guinea pig? Sorry, that's not really something worth talking about at all. No way. Yuan Farron spoke first. It shouldn't be. In terms of time, it won't be so fast. Tang Yuan began to swallow the saliva in his throat while expressing his denial. But, if space-based weapons are nothing, there seems to be nothing impossible. Wang Doi just finished saying this, turning his head. He saw that the faces of the other four were all flushed. This is an excited expression at this time. The people in the spiritual link began to frantically reveal their filing skin. Why are you going to find the minions of the god of death? It's so annoying. Yes, I don't know who proposed it. If we can go back normally, wouldn't we be the first to try on the mecha designed by Mission Su himself? Su Zhao, who came out of the laboratory, can have so many abilities. If it is a mecha, wouldn't it be perfect enough? Would you like to find a chance to pass the task to the captain? Yuan Farron silently listened to the voices of the crowd. His seemingly peaceful heart actually began to twitch continuously. Gan, I took you as team members, and you actually wanted me to take the blame for the mecha. There is no reason for this. After the atmosphere was silent for a few seconds, Liu Born seemed to want to understand something. After hesitating for a while, he said, Dear Captain, Before he could finish speaking, Yuan Farron directly interrupted the forward cast spell. No, our team is mainly based on 4 people acting together. Unless you die, you must act together with 4 people. Gan, you ride too hard, good guy. You really have to be the captain. So, when the crowd was moving forward for a while, Maliki stopped. What's wrong? Yuan Farron also thought that Maliki had located a fleeing minion. Who knows? Maliki turned to look at the crowd and asked solemnly. Chapter 320, Tech Wonders, Lightsaber. I have a question. Your team requires 4 people to act together. As an outsider, can I go and see the mecha of Mission Su you mentioned? Yuan Farron, 3 other members, what are you talking about? Yuan Farron's face darkened and he ruthlessly refused. No, the running minions of the death god still need you to locate them. Okay, Maliki pouted. No, why are you still wronged? Shouldn't the dignified mutants be more concerned about the development of their own abilities? Why are you still thinking about a mecha? Gan, just when everyone was chasing the minions of the god of death, Xu Teng had already arrived at the lightsaber base today. The Dragon Kingdom has a total of 3 bases: lightsaber base, blaster gun base, ion energy shield base, except for the ion energy protection base. It has not been fully analyzed so far. The other 2 bases are already for finished product manufacturing, of course. The only downside is that the rate of manufacture is very slow. It is far from reaching the stage of mass production. Fortunately, when the galaxy was awakened from its slumber, the technological wonder was unlocked. In addition to space-based weapons, the other 3 have at this time. Xu Teng just got off the helicopter. Li Yonghao, the head of the lightsaber base, greeted him. He watched the global live broadcast just now, but he didn't expect it to be so long. Probably just over 2 months. When we first met, Xu Teng was only a project leader and was young, but now he has grown into an academician who has won the highest honor of the Dragon Kingdom, and, in front of all the media, the national boss can not only say that he will always believe in the words of Mission Su, but also reveal at bottom, space-based weapons are not the last trump card. There are far more powerful cards in Xu Teng. Li Yonghao felt a little bit for the first time. Developing technology is not a difficult thing. Even geniuses have a desperate gap. And, far more than the average person, Li Yonghao, who greeted him, was very enthusiastic and spoke first. Welcome, Mission Su came to inspect the work. Are you planning to carry out other projects this time? The reason why Li Yonghao asked this question, that's because, every time Xu Teng comes over, he always brings something different project. Remember, that time came to mobilize the lightsaber to test the ion energy shield. The results of it, the lightsaber was completely defeated, and Li Yonghao felt a sense of loss in an instant. The lightsaber doesn't seem to be very strong. Isn't it that it took 2 months to design and manufacture it? Technological iteration, why is it so fast? Behind, when the ion energy shield organizes the actual measurement, all the firepower of the hot weapons in the base went into battle without breaking the shield. That moment, Li Yonghao's thinking changed. Be sure to look forward to Xu Teng. As long as there is Mission Su, there will be good things coming out. As we all know, everyone in the Dragon Kingdom has a phobia of lack of firepower. There are never too many weapons. And they even hope to have weapons that cover all the surface of Blue Star. This time I really brought a project here, really. Li Yonghao looked at Xu Teng, smile and felt extra warm look. I knew that academicians would definitely think of us, well, a technological wonder, technology, a wonder, not only Li Yonghao, but even the scientific researchers around him once thought that there was something wrong with his hearing. No, what is a technological spectacle? Can it solve the problem that our lightsabers cannot be mass-produced now? 10 minutes later, the researchers in the lightsaber base were dazed when they looked at the design drawings they got from academician Xu. Is there a possibility academician Xu is joking with us? A researcher in a white coat next to him asked cautiously. Actually, it's not just him, other researchers think so because it is clearly written on the drawing. Science and technology wonders, lightsaber, appearance, a building with a height of 2 meters and a width of 1 meter at the base. The exterior shape is a lightsaber. Scope effect. 100% enhance the understanding of the lightsaber schematic diagram. 100% enhance the lightsaber production rate. Scope of action. Primary, a square area of 1 kilometer. Construction process. First determine the construction location of the technological wonder, and start building the base in the order of the schematic diagram. It doesn't look like serious scientific research because they have never received the knowledge of such technology. Can the understanding of schematic diagrams and the production rate of lightsabers be improved by technological wonders? Think about it. The god of death descended on the Blue Star, and it was only a phantom that solidified. And it was able to invade the entire Blue Star network with its brilliance and the use of black mist to strengthen the function of the human body. And even different types of pentagrams can play various effects in different combinations by relying on construction. The mass production of lightsabers can be achieved. Is this reasonable? No, it makes perfect sense. After all, academician Xu has never lied. Turning on it too. A person passed by in the distance, and everyone looked up. Obviously they all have the same white coat. Why does academician Xu look so handsome when he wears it? In addition, he used his space-based weapons to save everyone by himself. Can MV. It's the male protagonist of Xu Wen's novels. Woo 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 woo. Why can't I be such a person at this moment? Xu Teng looked up at the crowd and asked slowly, are you ready? For him, it's also the first time a technological wonder has been built. A little bit shocked inside. Ready? Okay, let's get started. Xu Teng turned his head and started to take the lead. The tech wonder, the lightsaber, had already been chosen for its location before it was built. Pen Fun Library. When walking to a suitable position, Zing jumped out to a screen. Are you sure that the wonder of science and technology, lightsaber, will be built in this location? Yes. Xu Teng meditated in his heart. Location has been located, under construction, refreshing the list of wonders, being selected, already selected. Different brilliance began to appear on Zing's virtual screen, just like the god of death transformed the black fog into star armor. And in the eyes of others at this moment, a beam of light suddenly appeared on Xu Teng's body with a bang. They entered their chosen position. At this moment, the resulting fluctuations began to spread outward. It feels as if someone gave me a shudder, as if, the researcher next to him said slowly after feeling it for a while. Ah. Do you have them too? I thought it was only me who had them. And, do you feel that some of the core things about lightsabers are starting to become clear? Chapter 321. Another civilization. At first, no one paid attention hearing what he said. He turned around and thought about it. It's like this. It's like suddenly realizing it. Yes, I also feel the same way, and I even feel that I can extend some knowledge of the lightsaber to a small part. In the field of knowledge, I suddenly realized either way, it's amazing. No one can understand so many things in an instant. It is even possible to extend the core knowledge of high tech such as lightsabers to a small extent, but, indeed it is, as the radiance emerges, inspiration begins to explode. At this time, the beeping sound began to sound on the panel of galaxy. Contribution value obtained. 30 contribution value obtained. 50 contribution value obtained. 100. In a short period of time, the contribution value continued to appear on the panel of galaxy. Xu Teng was stunned for a while, and then he understood. Sure enough, as I guessed, the technological spectacle is essentially the immobilization of the badges obtained from the active opening that originally required time to cool down. It has become a radiant effect with a fixed range. Pity, the contribution value obtained is not much. No, the number of contribution points obtained from them has decreased rather, because the number of contribution points required to level up has increased this time. It needs a full 50,000.30. 50 is really not much in terms of the ratio of conversion into the required contribution value. Technological wonder, Lightsaber is under construction, progress completed. 3%, 10%, looking at the researchers around who are working hard to build, Xu Teng began to sigh in his heart. The things that Xing has opened are getting more and more magical. This is only a part of the weapon treasure house, and the other part has not been unlocked. According to the process, the power of the weapon treasure house should gradually increase. If the other part is turned on, wouldn't there be a more powerful weapon than the mecha? At that time, it seems that we don't need to be passive defense. Maybe we can take the initiative to attack. Just when Xu Teng was thinking about the future, on the other side of the ocean all other countries all in a hurry this time. The purpose of everyone is to throw all the pots on Longuo, first put a top hat on them, say, confronting the god of death is a very unwise act, and there was pressure from public opinion to force Longuo to hand over space-based weapons because, from the perspective of the country's scientific and technological strength, they really can't create that kind of space-based weapons today. Although nuclear weapons are not small in power, however, there are many disadvantages such as the issue of nuclear radiation, but flexibility. And many problems can things develop. Not only did the public opinion not fall to the Dragon Kingdom, it even fell to their side. Killing gods with space-based weapons is a very sensible act. Judging from the video released at the press conference, Grim Reaper is definitely not as easy to get along with as everyone's whitewashing and beautification. Brutal, bloodthirsty, and don't even treat them as human beings in the eyes of the god of death. They are more like saved food. Pentagrams can indeed be combined into any pattern, which can bring different effects. And finally, the released video has made it very clear using the pentagram to exert any effect requires the participation of sacrifices. Healing serious injuries requires human sacrifice to complete the transformation. Civilians are required to sacrifice. It is like extracting the life source of sacrifices to transform those who are selected. The first part of the video reads, the people sacrificed by the pentagram are the poor people in the slums other countries, but also a good Saiwara people with status, and there is a difference between those poor people who are poor. However, the content of the last part of the video completely crushed the crowd. Bam City, North Street. There are bustling streets, private cars, and even some of the elites of the society still have business dealings with them. Without exception, all became sacrifices just to summon the god of death and let it descend on the blue star. The so-called chosen people of God, the priests, the high priests for the sacrifice of the sacrifice. There is no mercy at all. In fact, the so-called social elites can also become sacrifices. How are they different? What's more, the god of death also sent out harsh words. Blue star has been positioned in the absence of in the case of the interstellar spaceship, where can everyone run, so, for a long time to come. Dragon Country is the safest place on Blue Star, and their diplomats also made a special mention at the press conference. Space-based weapons are not the last trump card. What else would there be? The media started doing crazy brain tricks for a while. The beautiful country got everyone's attention. The media is going crazy, shocked. The Dragon Kingdom is the savior of all of us, and we should thank them. So, please, what has our country done? Space-based weapons are not the last card. Could it be that they are planning to build mechas and spaceships? The safest place on the Blue Star now is the Dragon Country. Excuse me, where did all the taxes we pay go? Why was Longuo able to fight back when the network invaded? We claim to be the strongest weapon defense on Blue Star, but there is no movement at all. At this moment, countries with free speech frantically criticize their bigwigs. Usually, there are benefits. The media will also become their spear to attack others. Now the Grim Reaper was broadcast live all over the world. If you don't come up with a convincing weapons system, everyone will be doomed except for the Dragon Kingdom. They can't even guarantee a complete corpse at this time. Will they still listen to you? Dream. At this moment, the boss of the beautiful country is very headache. The reporter did a good job on the horse. I thought it was a god teammate, but now I found out that it was a pig teammate. Fired him from me, and tried his best to put him in jail. After losing his temper, he rubbed his eyebrows during the meteor shower a few months ago. Meteorites landed in several places. East Afghanistan has become the birthplace of the death civilization. Logically speaking, the meteorites in their hands should also have something. After all, they are experts in imitation. After in-depth research, it is found that the pattern is equipped on the weapon, which can enhance the power. This point can explain that it is fundamentally different from the pentagram civilization of the death god. But why can't I always get in touch? Just as he frowned, a rush of footsteps came from outside. Then the secretary pushed open the door and came in to report. Chapter 322, The Kingdom of Mandu God. According to the latest news report from Special Zone 5, just now, the civilization that we have been trying to communicate with has finally responded to us. Response: After being stunned for a while, the boss of the beautiful country began to be happy. He has no scientific and technological strength on his own, and he clearly knows that he can't resist the death god leading the fleet to invade in the future. Pinning your hopes on alien civilizations is one of the possible ways back. A pattern, equipped on a weapon, can increase the power of the weapon. It's amazing at the same time. It landed on the blue star after a long journey in the universe. This means that the civilization to which the other party belongs must also be an interstellar civilization. If can master the technology of part of its civilization, it is enough to dominate a blue star. As for whether it will become a vassal of its civilization, none of this matters anymore because the fleet of Death God has been marked and positioned here. Although the time for others to arrive will not be so fast. However, researchers in the beautiful country know it. If they really want to fight in the future, they will definitely lose. Other people's technology is so much ahead. How to play, not just pure crushing. Quick, arrange me. No. I'll go over and talk to them now. Okay, the boss of the beautiful country went with a smile inside the closed room. The conversation took place for more than an hour. Finally, when he came out, the expression on his face was particularly solemn. The qualifications for negotiation are only based on the conditions of similar civilizations. If the degree of civilization between each other is too different, are not eligible to negotiate, and that kind of so-called negotiation is just unilaterally accepting the tasks assigned to you by the other side. This so-called rescue, the actual situation, is indeed the case. Apart from knowing that the name of other people's civilization is called Mandu Divine Kingdom, the boss of the beautiful country did not get the more news he wanted. Although others promised to transmit higher-end technology in the future to this pretty nation needs to become a vassal of its civilization and successfully unify Blue Star before the opposing fleet arrives. If they don't do it, they don't mind temporarily switching to an agent of an affiliated civilization on Blue Star. No one has ever spoken to a handsome country boss with such an attitude, but this once, he put his stature very low. No matter what the other party said, he agreed. I just mentioned a sentence at the end. I hope that the complete technology of weapon augmentation can be transmitted in another person. Off screen tapped on it a few times. The meteorite made a sound of electricity. Okay, the technology has been transmitted, and I also transmitted other technologies along the way. Next time, I hope you can bring us good news. When is the next time? The boss asked quickly. Wait, we will take the initiative to contact you. Others looked impatient and hung up the call. Looking at the disconnected screen, a grim look appeared on the face of the handsome country's boss. Fuck, interstellar civilization is amazing. Turning his head to look at the meteorite lying on the glass window, his expression began to become decadent again. Unexpectedly, they hold things like treasures. In fact, it is just an information transmitter. Longo, you wait. It's all your fault. Otherwise, how could our Blue Star have come this far? Why am I, a dignified and beautiful country boss, come to feel this kind of anger? And the death god, wait. One day, I'll make you pay. Incompetent was furious. Ring the bell to let the secretary enter the door and instruct him. The other party has already transmitted the technology of weapon augmentation, and there are other technologies along the way. You put out the news right away. Say we're going to hold the press conference, and also, after a pause, the secretary raised her head in confusion. I saw a terrifying gleam in the former's eyes. What's the matter? The secretary suddenly felt a little timid and had a bad premonition. Blue Star has been peaceful for too long. I think some people are beginning to forget who is the overlord of Blue Star. Are you going to start a war? The secretary was directly frightened. Not that it was not expected, it is all too sudden, and, considering the actual situation, the blast of the space-based weapon that killed the god of death was too shocking. Can we really beat it? The secretary's first thought was this. Don't worry, that piece of meteorite is an information transmitter. We have it from higher. Wait for the technology transmitted by civilization. On the other side of the ocean, the virtual screen of galaxy is constantly beating information. The progress is 90%, 99%. Wonder of science and technology. Lightsaber has been built. Civilization points have been obtained. 1. Intimate note: when the civilization point reaches 100, you can unlock another part of the arsenal. Don't blame me for not reminding you. The weapons inside will be better than today's. Be polite. Can you open the arsenal? Although, I don't know how to get this thing, but there's one thing to say, and you can see it just from the intimate remarks. The weapons in the back are stronger. It's really yearning. Turn around. Turn back. Xu Teng was immediately stunned. In fact, he once guessed the wonders of technology. Lightsabers, after construction, what will be the effect? Or more specifically, in what way will the effect on the screen be accomplished? Now, Xu Teng is finally clear. When tech wonder, lightsaber, After construction is complete, radiance emanated from the building itself, and those radiance began to spread nearby like waves of water. Every scientific researcher who is in it is filled with holy brilliance and glitters just like a fairy who descended to earth at this time. The feelings of the researchers are also very strange. Not only did I feel the explosion of inspiration in my mind, but even myself began to become lighter. Xu Teng looked at the crowd who were about to fly with joy, falling into contemplation. Is this the reason why Galaxy said it can improve production efficiency? Although the two of us are very familiar, don't talk nonsense. Otherwise I will sue you for defamation. Xu Teng's eyebrows twitched, and the expression on his face was almost uncontrollable. Good guy, since Xing woke up from his slumber, the way you speak is getting more and more wrong. I don't know what weird TV show I've watched again. Then what happened to them? Xu Teng asked. Remember the black mist of death god? I know. Make sacrifices on the pentagram pattern, extract the power of the source of life, and then transform the human body. Yes, in a way, technological spectacles have a similar effect. Chapter 323 The Construction of Technological Wonders. Seeing Xu Teng's confused expression, Xing explained. The active effect of badges can cause people's thinking to explode. In fact, it is in the deep part of the brain that stimulation is made, so that the brain responds. The spectacle of science and technology, the overflowing brilliance is such an effect. Compared with the black mist of death god, our brilliance has no side effects, but he changes it directly and violently. I see. Is it only a technological spectacle, lightsabers, that have this effect? Or are all technological spectacles this effect? As far as the technological wonder Xu Teng unlocks, lightsabers are among the worst because, both in terms of the weapons themselves and the types of technological wonders, the knowledge involved in the latter two is more complicated. All technological wonders have this effect. And, let me tell you quietly, the latter two technological wonders are a little better. Looking at the excited researchers, Xu Teng looked forward to it even more. It turns out that everything Xing said was true. At noon, Xu Teng applied for a full physical examination for the researchers in the base. Although, most people do not know why Academician Xu did this, but all is required. Just the moment when the final result came out, everyone was stunned, followed by ecstasy. What? The metabolic rate in my body has begun to rise. Don't tell me, I slept really well at noon today. For the first time in such a long time, I can have a peaceful sleep. It's not my secret disease, which has always been aching, doesn't feel so intense now. Everyone was discussing, and they thought it was just their psychological effect. It was only after we all came together that we realized that it was not one person who felt this way. Everyone is like that. Remember again, the difference between the current base and the previous one is that there is an additional technological wonder in the base. At first, everyone was still discussing what the brilliance that emerged from technology did. Now it seems, this is good stuff, can strengthen one's own physical fitness. And, far from it, in the afternoon, when everyone entered the lightsaber production workshop, they found a pleasant surprise. When I made the lightsaber, I felt a lot faster. This is not the point. The original expanded associations can really be realized on the lightsaber at this moment. Is the effect of technological wonder so powerful? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. In a few hours, the lightsaber base produced what would have taken a month to make. When Li Yonghao, the person in charge of the lightsaber base, heard the news, everyone would laugh unexpectedly. Academician Xu said that mass production can be carried out. Do it right away, not sloppy at all. Isn't that? All the people in the base will be able to have a lightsaber in hand in the next few days. Handsome, for a while. Li Yonghao couldn't hold back his emotion, and just when Li Yonghao wanted to thank Academician Xu, the assistant in the base stepped forward and replied, Academician Xu has left the base. Go? So fast? Well, Academician Xu said he was in a hurry, and he has other projects to carry out. Understand, Li Yonghao had a feeling at any time Xu Teng, even after becoming an academician, is still a pure person. If anyone else, at this moment, will enjoy the glory brought by the academician. But what about this young high-tech spectacle? When done, without even stopping, he ran to the next place, being positioned by the god of death. How can we crucify you for the first time? Under the leadership of Academician Xu, we will certainly crucify you for the second time. Li Yonghao turned and told his assistant, pass my order. Starting from today, the base will upgrade the production of lightsabers to the highest level of tasks. Fight, so that every soldier in the army can get a lightsaber. Clear. Since the order was issued, the operational efficiency among the various departments of the base has been maximized. Everyone has only one wish, that is, the lightsaber must enter mass production as soon as possible. At this time, Xu Teng was rushing to the next scientific research base, the blaster gun. The lightsaber base has been built. And the contribution value will never stop, just like guesswork. Before activating the badge, generating when the effect occurs, the contribution value will appear today. A technological spectacle is more like a badge with a fixed active effect. Galaxy's virtual list has been brushing contribution value obtained. 10 contribution value obtained. 30. Acquired contribution value. 40. Compared to when the original wonder was built, the contribution value generated is much less. This also reflects a little from the side. That is, the effect of the spectacle is much better than what Xu Teng expected in a short period of time. The inspiration has exploded and most of the problems have been solved. No wonder, Galaxy's intimate notes are marked like that. Can also understand. Total contribution value. 1000/50000, although there is still a lot of difference from the contribution value of 50,000. However, there is no time for a day-to-day in this way. The upgrade of Galaxy is also a matter of time. The roar of the engine began to subside, and the pilot in front turned his head and replied, "Academician Su, the blaster base has arrived." Okay. After taking a sip of water, Xu Teng stepped off the plane. Just like the lightsaber base, a group of long-awaited base personnel stood outside at this time. "Welcome Academician Su to come here to inspect the work." Don't dare, Xu Teng quickly explained. "Academician Su came here this time to build a technological wonder? Li Yonghao told me on the phone just now that the lightsaber at their base will soon be able to enter mass production." Looking at the expectant eyes of the surrounding researchers, Xu Teng turned back and explained, "Yeah, this time, the blaster guns in your base can also solve the problem of mass production, in the next 2 days." Xu Teng went to the base of the ion energy shield again. As Galaxy says, the tech wonder, lightsaber, is the easiest to build. It took just over an hour to build. The construction of the technological wonder of the blaster took half a day. In the end, the construction of the technological wonder of the ion energy shield took a whole day. At the same time, the technological wonder of the lightsaber is also the worst compared to the other two bases in terms of the brilliance produced. It was even doubled so far. The 3 technological wonders that have been unlocked have all been built. Chapter 324. The beginning of a new war. At the moment of completion, a message sound came from the Galaxy virtual screen. "Congratulations on the completion of the construction of the technological wonders. Unlock the hidden task. The master of the construction of technological wonders. The hidden mission has been completed. Evaluating in progress. Searching. After retrieval. Task evaluation. Receive the reward. The power of the mecha." Intimate note: adapting to the mecha is not that easy. In fact, not every warrior can become a professional mech warrior. But you are different. When you have the power of mecha, it has already shown that you will be an outstanding mecha warrior. Pen Fun Library. When looking at the reward, Xu Teng was a little confused. Will there be hidden tasks in the construction of technological wonders? Moreover, after completing the hidden task, the reward obtained is a bit unexpected. He actually obtained the power of the mecha. Actually, before that, Xu Teng had thought about some things. That is, as a researcher, should he be on the battlefield in the future? Judging from the news obtained from Xing, the Death God's fleet is far more powerful than he imagined. Moreover, he was directly nailed to death in front of all the audience of Blue Star. This hatred cannot be resolved. In particular, Xu Teng is a scientific researcher highly valued by the country. No matter from any aspect, he will not be spared by the God of Death. It will even become a key hunting target. Fortunately, Red Star Energy Liquid gave him a strong physique. Even becoming a warrior is not impossible. Being able to protect yourself is far more reliable than being protected by others. So, under this premise, does Xing want to become a research thug? Just thinking about it, Xing answered Xu Teng's doubts. "Yeah, you actually found out, Xu Teng." "I don't know why." Since Xing woke up from a deep slumber, its way of speaking is extraordinarily strange. It reminded him more than once of Su Jiao, who was far away in East Afghanistan. "Dear, please don't think of me like that. In fact, people have always worried about the safety of your life." Sure enough, it's not a good thing that Galaxy is too smart, just like Su Jiao's learning ability is too strong. It is not a good thing. Speak human words. The expression on Xu Teng's face was constantly changing. "All right." Xing changed a solemn tone and began to say, "After getting along with you day and night, I think it has potential to follow you. Therefore, I hope that even in a dangerous situation, you can have enough ability to protect yourself." The power of the mecha. "Yes, I just hope you can become a real scientific research fighter." Sure enough, Xing can understand this kind of thinking. At that time, His civilization had a total of 50 years of wars. The flames of war engulfed the entire galaxy. It is estimated that at the last moment, they realized how important it would be for scientists to be able to protect themselves. I understand, now. The crisis of the Death God fleet has come to Xu Teng again. He just understood how important it is to enter the interstellar age early and make yourself strong. Take out the phone next to you and find a familiar contact method. The bell was still connected as soon as it rang. Academician Xu. What is your order? Tan Yonglin's voice was very solemn. A military leader at his level can know a lot of information. For example, in these few short days he got the news that Academician Xu went to 3 secret bases and built a building known as a technological wonder, and those 3 technological wonders really played an important function. Now, Academician Xu has found himself again. Must be for a new project. Earlier, diplomats made a point at a news conference. Space-based weapons are not the last card. In fact, he was also curious. Under Academician Xu's hands, there will be some trump cards. I need a new base. New base. Alan Tam subconsciously emphasized it again. And at the same time his emotions began to run high. It's coming, it's coming. Well, I want to carry out research on mechas, mecha. Hearing this sentence, Tan Yonglin's breathing inadvertently began to heavier. Now, Academician Xu has developed 3 individual weapons, 2 attacks, 1 defense. None of those can be real killers, but this time, Academician Xu's words made Alan Tam, who has been in the military for many years, couldn't help but start to be stunned. Mecha. That can be described as the real peak of individual soldiers. If it has it, deep after entering the enemy, it is not the soldiers who should be afraid but the enemy on the opposite side. Then, the real nightmare came. Tan Yonglin swallowed and asked cautiously, Academician Xu, is the mecha you're talking about the one I thought? Yes, great. Tan Yonglin was instantly excited. Academician Xu, if you have any requirements, just ask me, and I will satisfy it immediately. It is good. If he said that, Xu Teng would not be polite. I have sent all the documents that I have sorted out. In the afternoon of that day, a document classified as top secret was placed in front of the boss of Long Kingdom. At night, the entire state apparatus began to move. At this time, on the other side of the ocean, the state institutions of the beautiful country are also doing their best to operate. Only the representatives of a few huge families know about the phone call between the country boss and another civilization. At first, everyone was stunned when they heard the boss's proposal. They guessed many ways to deal with death, such as union, such as other things, but I just didn't expect that it would become a civilized subsidiary country of the Kingdom of God. At the same time, he will also agree to his proposal. Before their fleet arrives, they will conquer the entire Blue Star. War will never be so easy, especially, not so long ago the space-based weapon of the Dragon Kingdom really makes people have to pay attention to it. But later, with the disclosure of information, only then did they understand that the meteorite they picked up was an information transmitter. There are many things recorded in it. Mando God Kingdom gave us the complete technology of weapon amplifiers, and even other technologies. As the pages of the document turned, their expressions became shocked one by one. The types of weapons that only existed in fantasy began to enter everyone's field of vision: shields, laser shredders. Even in terms of the current R&D strength of beautiful country, it is absolutely impossible to get it out within a dozen years. We can't do anything about it. It's all Long Country's fault. He let Blue Star's position be positioned by the God of Death. If we don't accept it, we will only usher in death in the end. There were struggling expressions on the faces of several people, and then one by one raised their hands in agreement. Where to start? Someone began to ask. East Afghanistan, Bam City. Chapter 325, Artificial Intelligence Technology. East Afghanistan, Bam City. When they heard the name of the city, everyone was stunned. Isn't that the Death God's lair there? Someone asked suspiciously. Yes, in the released video, there are not only the chosen people of God, but also sacrifices and high priests. Looking at everyone's doubtful eyes, the handsome country boss tapped the table with his fingers. Then guide, there are indeed these. The last space-based weapon just killed the God of Death. What about these people? Where did they go? You mean, none of those present were fools? Some people began to realize what the boss wanted to say. That's right, it's just a pretense. The God of Death will never die with us, so why don't we take the initiative to serve as the police on the Blue Star, and use this as an excuse to march into Bam City? Following this line of thought, some people began to wake up and go down. Then, it was said that God's chosen people began to flee to other cities, and some groups began to take them in order to obtain the forgiveness of the God of Death. Therefore, in order to maintain justice, we called on them to surrender, but they don't do this kind of thing. The train of thought became clear in an instant, and everyone understood at that time. The beautiful country has done a lot to save face as long as it is a member of the country on the Blue Star. There is no position to oppose it because what they do is to maintain the safety of all citizens on Blue Star. Beat the god of death. Who dares to reject this? Wonderful. The plan is simply perfect. Then, the only thing left now is this. All of these technologies are now fully understood, guaranteed to be fine. Hearing someone questioned. The bosses of beautiful country began to give them a boost. Our country's technological level is Blue Star's first, and the above plan is very detailed, and it is not difficult to understand it thoroughly. But, Dragon Kingdom space-based weapons, speaking of which, everyone's expressions changed. Even the god of death can be nailed to death. If a series of space-based weapons fell from the sky at the last moment, it would be a devastating disaster. The space-based weapon is really strong. If it can't be smashed down, it's not dangerous? What do you mean? Everyone looked at the boss. There was an abundance of confidence on his face, and he became curious. Could it be that Mandu Divine Kingdom put other technologies in the information transmitter? The big guy sitting in the C position pressed the remote control in his hand, and then turned the page of the plan. It was written in bold letters. Artificial intelligence technology. Is it really this? In fact, after the god of death used the brilliance to control the beautiful country's network, they fell into panic. At stake, the development of national defense is the most important thing. Pen Fun Library. The power and scale of the weapon has been reimagined. However, they also faced entirely new challenges, that is network technology. How to deal with it? Today's weapon control is different from what it used to be. All rely on information technology. Facts have proved that they are completely unable to compete with the god of death in the network, no matter how powerful your weapon is. The last time you are invaded, the target of the attack becomes your own, not the end of the calf. But now, another interstellar civilization has assisted them, and it's most needed. Artificial intelligence. Could it be that he was dozing off, and someone came over to deliver pillows? How far can the above technology be developed? The representative of the largest arms family swallowed silently. It can fully take over and control the entire Blue Star network. At the same time, it can also develop into a virtual figure and project it. Fuck, this is the best thing I've ever seen. All of you here, this is the view that pops up in your mind. It turns out that this is your confidence. No wonder you want to take over Blue Star. Someone murmured. In fact, let's not talk about the weapon artificial intelligence technology. If the beautiful country really fully absorbs it, they are not far from victory, because, at that moment, all the treasure troves of weapons on the Blue Star will belong to the beautiful country. Several oily faces, no longer worried about the idea, then celebrate in advance. We will become the masters on Blue Star after all. Cheers! The atmosphere in the conference room became extraordinarily cheerful, and the champagne brought in by the secretary was scattered everywhere. At this time, everyone has only one thought: Grim Reaper? What the hell? We will defeat him after all, and the space-based weapons of the Dragon Kingdom can. The technical support we get is just as good. On the other side of the ocean, with the mobilization of orders from the leaders above, a large number of materials across the country began to be shipped to a certain place at the same time. A large number of scientific researchers have also been transferred. Producing mechas is not an easy task. In fact, it takes a lot of technological integration to create this most cutting-edge individual equipment, roughly divided into several types: materials, power, energy, artificial intelligence. When it comes to materials, the reason is that the mecha is actually a cutting-edge individual equipment that will definitely be taken care of by the enemy's firepower, whether it's infiltrating behind enemy lines or frontal battlefields. As long as it appears, it is definitely the most beautiful boy. Therefore, the mech needs thick equipment, otherwise, the warrior wearing the mecha will be smashed by the enemy before launching an attack, which is absolutely impossible. Before space-based weapons came out, materials were a big problem. Everything changed the moment Xu Teng gave out a blueprint for the space-based weapon, because the tungsten head of the space-based weapon can even smash the tortoise shell defense and star armor of the death god. Suffice it to say, the hardness of the material, there is absolutely no problem with the resisting firepower. Pen Fun Library. The refining technology of tungsten rod head is star iron. It's on the blueprint, and so will the researchers involved in space-based weapons. So, the material problem has been solved. As for the problem of power and energy, the answer was also found on the meteorite that fell into the Dragon Kingdom. It contains the Milovsky particle. After Xu Teng's magic modification technology, it became the energy source of the anti-gravity engine. The strong action has been confirmed in actual action, because the space-based weapons were installed on the anti-gravity engine platform and launched from the ground to space. There is no problem at all. Therefore, the problem of power and energy has also been sufficiently solved now. The only difficulty is artificial intelligence. The weapons loaded on the mecha must be operated by artificial intelligence, And it cannot be the manual method at the same time. The flight of the mech also requires a large amount of data analysis to obtain the best quality route impossible. As soon as it flew up, it hit the wall. At this moment, Xu Teng set his sights on Xinghe. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.